Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto's family forgets him and he banished got Harem Part 3. And subscribe if you enjoy the video. And also check the description. So let's begin the story. Naruto quickly got into his bunker, and went towards his armory, running his hand on the keyboard to notify the Avengers that he was back. Tony quickly appeared on the monitor in the armory, as Naruto prepared his things for tomorrow evening. Whoa, where's the fire? Tony asked as Naruto took a pair of night vision goggles from the shelf. Have a big mission tomorrow, hands down a decided suicide one. Naruto said as he ripped the Kumo insignia from his beret. Why now? Cap asked as he appeared on an opposite screen. Not sure, maybe they want to see the true extent of my abilities. Naruto replied as he sealed some kunai and shuriken into a scroll. He quickly grabbed another Kevlar vest and laid it out for the next day. Well, are they sending you alone or with a team? Natalia asked. Team, Yujito and Samui, two unknown, Naruto replied as he sealed two clips into his armory scroll. He quickly checked the clips in his guns and after making sure they were well loaded, began to get an outfit ready. Suna is mainly hot weather, so a few cooling steels will do wonderfully in the clothing, Naruto said as he pulled out a pair of tan cargo pants and a tan t-shirt from the armory closet. Why the tan? Hawkeye asked as Naruto took the Kevlar vest and a can of brown spray paint. Suna's environment is very desert-like, so this will be easier to blend in with. Naruto replied. He quickly spray painted the vest and took out a tan beret from his closet. After he made sure everything was ready, he unsealed his standard sword and cleaned it. You don't have to do this, you know, Natalia said in a worried tone as Naruto began to clean his bow. Of course I do, Naruto replied, making the woman fume. No you don't. You don't owe this village anything. Natalia shot back. This village, no? But those girls, I just can't bear the thought of any of them being hurt, and me not doing anything about it. Naruto replied. He unsealed his explosive arrows and checked them, only to turn and see Natalia fuming. I know they can take care of themselves, they're grown kunoichi, but I can't help but feel that if one of them died, a part of me would die. And if they both died I just don't know, Naruto said as he sealed his arrows again and retrieved a pair of tan boots, a tan face mask, and moved all of the contents from his regular Kevlar vest to the newly painted tan one. So, little Naruto is in love, Natalia said in a teasing tone. Which of the two girls is the lucky one? She asked, but Naruto wouldn't answer. You don't mean? Natalia began, only to be cut off by Naruto. I don't know. They both care for me so much, and they both hold a place in my heart. But I can't choose, Naruto said, making Natalia frown. How can you be sure you want either of them if you don't know what you want? She asked. I know what I want, Naruto replied. I want them safe and happy, and to live long and happy lives. If that means I'm not part of them, then so be it, Naruto replied as he finished getting everything ready and looked at the clock. Midnight. I'd better get some sleep, Naruto mused as he headed to his bed. Your notion of honor is admirable, but it's obsolete in this time and age, Jarvis said, making Naruto and Cap frown. Well, no one is perfect, Naruto replied as he turned over to get some sleep. You know, he's not going to be happy if he continues like that, Natalia said in the next room as she spoke with Cap. Naruto is a one-in-a-million guy. He doesn't care for his own sake, only for the sake of those who he cares about. Sometimes, seeing someone happy is more fulfilling than anything in the world, Cap muttered as he left. Natalia sighed as she signed off for the evening. The next evening, 11:45 p.m., village gates. Mabui, Cat, Dog, Yujito, and Samui stood at the village gates waiting for Naruto. Where is he? Dog demanded in an annoyed tone. He'll be here soon. It's not midnight yet, I replied, a bit annoyed at the boy's absence. Sir, this kind of behavior is completely unprofessional and I believe that it may jeopardize the... Cat began, only to be cut off by Samui. You don't know anything about Naruto-kun's skill set or mine's or Yujito's for that matter, so you have no right to judge. That's another thing, Reikage-sama. Yujito-san and Samui-san seem to be awfully attached to. Dog began, only to be cut off by the Raikage. "Silence!" he yelled, making them all shut up. "Dog and cat, I would not put my shinobi on a mission of this caliber if I didn't know for sure they were ready. So please put aside your opinions and trust the shinobi I have assigned. As for Naruto's so-called unprofessional attitude, he is not late yet, as it is barely 11:55 said, shutting up the umbu. Before he could go on, Naruto appeared wearing his standard cargo pants, boots, t-shirt, Kevlar vest, face mask, and beret in tan. "Is everyone ready?" he asked, getting a nod from Yujito and Samui and a hesitant one from the umbu. "Good, now Samui-chan and Yujito-chan, please message me on your devices so I can make sure you are competent with the technology," Naruto asked. Yujito and Samui conceded and sent him a quick message. After he made sure he received it, and there was no problem, Naruto turned to A and spoke. "Old man, I would like to take charge of this mission." A nodded and Naruto turned to his team. "Like I said yesterday, Yujito will be paired with cat and Samui with dog. I will remain in communication via the messengers," Naruto said as he motioned at the small device in his hand. "By morning, we should be arriving at the beginning of Suna's desert," Naruto said as he inspected his team. "When we arrive, we will camp and rest, with one member awake at all times on watch. Sundown is at 6:30, which is when we move out. It's approximately 2.5 hours to Suna at top speed, which means it will be around 9:30 or 10 by the time we arrive," Naruto said as he set up the times. "We will be sneaking in as some lost travelers looking for a place for the night. From there, we check into a hotel and wait an hour," Naruto said as he looked to make sure everyone was still with him. "After the hour is passed, Samui and Dog will go to the records office and see what kind of supplies they have been moving. Yujito and Cat will be heading to the armory yard to see what kind of weapons they plan on mobilizing, and I will head into the barracks to get a rough estimate on their forces," Naruto said, getting surprised looks from the Raikage. "That's a suicide mission in a suicide mission, Naruto-san," A commented. "I know, but out of all of us I have the best stealth training," Naruto replied. "How do you figure?" A asked curiously. "Well, I am the only one who thought to wear tan to blend in with the thousands of miles of sand instead of black to stick out like a sore thumb," he said as he motioned to the umbu. They both fumed, but conceded his point. "After we have the information we need, we go back to the hotel and have a nice time. By the next day, we leave via the opposite gate and continue traveling, getting off scot-free." Naruto finished. "Any comments or questions?" Naruto asked, only for Dog to step up. "Yeah, why not do this in one go and get it done in one night instead of dragging it out to 3 days?" Dog asked. "You're not thinking. We can't go in half-ed and half-assed. That's what gets you killed," Naruto said as he motioned to the team. "Their lives are on my shoulders, and I plan on all of us making it back in one piece," Naruto said to Dog. Dog fumed, but nodded and stepped down. "By your leave, Raikage-sama?" Naruto asked, only for Mabui to step up. "For village safety, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask that you give up your forehead protectors signifying that you have ties to Kumo," she said in a monotone voice. Everyone nodded and handed their protectors to her, but Naruto threw his patch to A's feet. "Move out!" he yelled and the whole team scattered. Mabui sighed and was about to pick up the patch, only to see it in A's hands. "Why is he being so hostile?" Mabui asked as she looked at A. "Can't really say I blame the brat. He's risking his hide for the village and he's being met with so much opposition. I'd be pissed too," A said as he looked at the patch. "We can only hope they make it back in one piece," A said as he headed to his office. Mabui sent a quick look at the village gate and followed after A. Time skip. Next day, outskirts of Suna Desert. Naruto looked at his painting team as he landed on a tree branch. The forest line was visible from their spot, so they decided to set camp here. Naruto turned to his half-dead team and motioned for them to set up camp as he took out a small scroll from one of the pockets of his Kevlar vest and tossed it on the ground. It unraveled to show a small seal with the kanji for tent on it. With a small poof, a tent appeared set up and ready for everything. Naruto took off his vest and threw it into his tent, then motioned for the others to gather around. "I'll be taking my first watch, all of you trying to catch some sleep," We will rotate every hour so everyone sleeps equally," Naruto said. His team nodded and headed to their sleeping tents. Naruto hopped up into a tree and took a watch with Samui. Samui quietly unzipped her tent and looked around into the treetops for any sign of Naruto. "He's not here, good," she thought as she headed to his tent. She quietly unzipped it and reached in for his Kevlar vest. As soon as she got her hands on it, she searched the pockets until she found his messenger. "Perfect," she muttered as she zipped his tent and headed back to her own with a sly smile on her face. Time skip. 15 minutes later, Samui exited her tent with a large blush on her face. But her mission was done. She had made a mess on her sleeping bag and a few loud noises, but she had accomplished what she set out to do. She looked down at Naruto's communicator with a smile, but shook her head. She quietly and quickly put the device back into the vest and went back to her tent. She had to get at the very least some notion of sleep if this mission was going to go well. Time skip. 45 minutes later, Naruto groaned as he finally went into his tent. His stamina might have been high, but even he got tired. He quickly took off his boots and wrapped his arms around his pillow, blissfully unaware of what was to come. Outskirts of Suna Desert, 6 p.m. Naruto groaned as he woke up. He quietly put his Kevlar vest back on and put his boots on. 6 p.m., almost showtime. He thought as he stepped out of his tent to see Yujito keeping watch. He headed to a small fire and took out a small scroll from his vest labeled rations. "You can go do whatever you need to do, Yujito-chan. I'll finish keeping watch," Naruto told the blonde. She nodded and quickly disappeared in a shunshin. Naruto shrugged as he unsealed large strips of marinated meat from the scroll. "What are you doing?" a soft voice from behind him asked. He turned to see Samui taking down her tent and fully dressed. "Making some breakfast. Or lunch depending on what time you woke up," Naruto replied. "If you need to get anything done, you might want to do it now while there's still time. After we eat, we won't have the luxury of stopping," Naruto told her. Samui nodded and left. Naruto went and woke up the sleeping Anbu and informed them that if they had any personal business, they would want to get it done before breakfast. Anbu nodded and they both left, leaving Naruto alone in the clearing. Naruto quickly went back to the fire and unsealed a large pan from his ration scroll. He let the pan heat up and put the strips of meat to cook. "I really hope shit doesn't go south," Naruto thought as he cooked the meal. Time skip. Lunch. Everyone was seated around the fire with a plate in their hands eating as Naruto unraveled a map of a bird's eye view of Suna. "All right," Naruto said as he looked around, only to see Samui missing. "Has anyone seen Samui?" Naruto asked, but everyone shrugged. "I'd better try to get her back here before we begin," Naruto said as he pulled out his messenger and sent her a text asking where she was. Naruto sat and waited for a response with a plate of food in hand. "With Samui, in forest." Samui looked at the team with a sly smile on her face. She had been waiting for half an hour for this moment. Her phone quietly vibrated in her pocket, and she saw the text from Naruto. "Where are you? Team meeting is about to start," Samui quietly read. She smirked and wrote, "On my way back." Then she headed towards the group. With Naruto. Naruto was beginning to get worried about Samui, but saw her heading back towards the team. Before he could call out to her, a loud feminine was heard. Naruto turned to see Yujito blushing and Cat looking away. "Naruto-kun, that?" an angry Yujito demanded. "I have no idea," Naruto said as he took out his messenger to see Samui's text. Naruto put his messenger down and served Samui some food, then turned back to the team. "Alright, is everyone here?" Naruto asked, only to be responded by the same feminine. He turned to his messenger to see the notification of a new text. He opened it up to read, "Naruto, if this is your messenger making that noise, I am going to kill you." From Yujito. He looked up to see Yujito looking at him with blind rage in her eyes. "Naruto-kun, why is your messenger making that noise?" she demanded through gritted teeth. "Easy boy, don't mess up here. This is life or death," Naruto thought nervously. Apparently, someone thought it would be funny to personalize my notification tone. Naruto muttered as he checked the tone. A recording was set in the ringtone. Interesting. Naruto thought as he looked at an enraged Yujito and a blushing Samui. Well, no point in distracting ourselves now, Naruto muttered as he slipped the messenger into his pocket. Now, on to business, Naruto said as he pointed to the laid-out map of Suna on the floor. The armory is in the northeastern sector of Suna. The records office is in the southeastern sector of Suna. And the bunkers are in the northern end of Suna, near the earth wall, Naruto said, then took a bite of his food. In the dead middle of Suna is the red light district. Hookers, brothels, bars, hotels, and tourist traps. Basically, Sin City itself. Naruto said, we'll find a cheap hotel there and wait until 10:30. Naruto said as he motioned to Dog and Samui, you two will head to the records office and get every record available for the past 2 months. Naruto then turned to Yujito and Kat. You two will head to the armory and see what kind of weapons they plan on deploying. I want no surprises. Naruto said, making sure they understood their assignments. And I will be heading to the belly of the beast. Security around the barracks will be rough, but if they are preparing for war, all of their forces will be there waiting to mobilize, Naruto said, motioning to the rest of the team. Any questions? He asked. Good. We met back up in the hotel at 12:30 a.m. We keep in constant communication. If shit hits the fan, we haul ass, Naruto said, getting a nod out of all of them. He quickly sealed up his cooking tools and made sure the fire was put out. Let's move out then, he said, and with that, everyone nodded and began the walk into the Suna Desert. Suna Desert, 8 p.m. Naruto looked ahead as he saw the village walls become visible. So far, they had encountered no opposition, just the average patrol here and there. Naruto quietly motioned for his team to stop and take a small break. Everyone sat and began swigging away at their canteens, leaving Naruto to unseal various cloaks with hoods in a tan color. Everyone, put one of these on. They're hot as hell, but they should hide your outfits well, Naruto said as he passed them out, then took out a small jar of dirt. He quietly spread it on certain places in his face and around his nose, then ground it in to make him look poor with his outfit. Why are you rubbing dirt in? Samui asked. Well, technically we're just wanderers looking to rest and eat, right? Naruto asked, getting a nod from Yujito. No one is going to believe a wanderer got through that clean unless he had training or experience. Plus, it's a major bonus as far as the pity party is concerned. Naruto replied. Pity party? Samui asked, only to pick up the jar of dirt and rub some on her face. Yeah, pity party. When people see someone dirty asking for admittance to stay, they automatically assume down on their luck and idiots, which helps throw suspicion off, Naruto said, then Yujito chipped in. Besides, who's the last dirty wanderer you remember? She asked as she smeared her face with a frown. Another valid point, no one memorizes a dirty face. Just never happens, Naruto muttered, handing the jar to Dog and Cat. Dog took off his mask to show a face with brown eyes and brown hair with no major recognizable traits. Perfect, you've got a very generic face. Easy to forget and hard to remember, Naruto said to Anbu, who huffed. Kat then took off her mask to show a dark-haired beauty with stunning blue eyes. And you've got those puppy dog eyes, perfect for playing with guilt, Naruto muttered. The girl blushed slightly, but shook it off and applied the dirt. As soon as everyone was ready, Naruto put on the hood of the cloak and bent forward, simulating a hump. Let's go, Naruto told them in a soft tone, making them all look at him oddly before they walked after him. They all pulled their hoods up and leaned their heads down. Village gates, entrance. Naruto looked ahead of him and saw 2 guards standing at the gates. Halt, state your business and show identification, one of them said as he stepped forward. We are just travelers searching for a cool bed and a warm meal, Naruto said as he stepped forward. Can I see your identification? The guard asked. We come from a minor village which was recently destroyed. We have no form of identification. We do not wish problems. We just want to pass through, Naruto said, making the guard nervous. I'm sorry, sir, but we cannot let you pass, one of the guards said. Naruto looked up at the man. Please, sir, we cannot stay out here because the temperature has already dropped and will continue dropping, Naruto said in a pleading tone and looked up with his dirty face, making the guard more uncomfortable at his response. Fine, but I hear one peep of trouble out of you or your group are out in the cold, the guard said and let them pass. Naruto smiled and took a small bow towards the guard. Thank you, he said, and then walked in with the rest of his team. Infiltration complete, Naruto thought as he and the team walked towards the red light district. Suna, Dessert Evenings Hotel. Naruto and his team sighed as soon as they stepped into the suite with adjoining rooms. Alright, everything's going good so far, Naruto said as he went to the bathroom and wiped the dirt from his face. Everyone, get ready and get your infiltration outfits ready, Naruto said as he looked at the clock. It's 9:30. We move out in an hour, Naruto said as he took off his cloak and relaxed for a while. He sat on the couch with his arms spread out, only to feel two familiar weights leaning on him. Hey Samui-chan. Hey Yugi-chan, Naruto said through closed eyes. Think we'll get past this, Naruto-kun? A nervous Samui asked. Yujito was quiet, but the same thought was running through her mind. I can promise you two you will make it out. But as for the rest, I'm not so sure, Naruto replied offhandedly. What do you mean? Asked Yujito in a worried tone. Infiltration missions are always risky. There are a million things that can go wrong and one jumpy operative can send everything straight to hell, Naruto said. All I can tell you girls is to keep a cool head, Naruto said and kissed Samui's forehead. And to keep your cat-like instincts sharp and follow them, he said as he kissed Yujito's head. In these kinds of situations, all you can do is prepare for the worst and hope for the best, Naruto said as he hugged the girls close to him. He looked up to the clock on the wall and saw the time. He looked to the door to see the Umbu in their cloaks with clean faces waiting for them. Come on girls, show time, Naruto said as he helped the girls up. He put on his cloak and waited for them to get ready, then they all left the room. Suna Streets. Naruto nodded to Samui and Dog as they headed southeast to the records office. He nodded to Yujito and Kat as they headed northeast towards the armory. He rubbed his eyes and headed north. Things were about to get very risky in this mission, with Samui and Dog. Samui and Dog quietly approached the large office with the Suna symbol at the entrance. The road was thankfully deserted as Dog leaned down to the door. He quickly picked the lock and they both stepped in, making sure to stay in the dark. We're in, Samui typed into the messenger and sent it to Yujito and Naruto. With Yujito and Kat. Yujito and Kat walked past the ninja making rounds around the gated armory. After they made sure the ninja was out of earshot range, they quietly jumped over the large chain link fence, and quietly made their way to what looked like a service entrance. Yujito picked the lock expertly and they both stepped in to find themselves in the kitchen. Wherein Yujito typed into the messenger and sent it to Samui and Naruto. With Naruto sighed as he walked past the underground barracks entrance and towards the rear. He smiled at the guard walking past him and waved at him. As he kept walking, he saw a large vent spewing out hot air and smirked. He quietly approached it and unscrewed the bolts. After he did, he stepped inside and placed the vent over the opening, leaving everything the way it was as a guard walked towards the back of the building. He looked around and saw nothing. Good, the weird blonde is gone. He spoke into a walkie-talkie and continued his rounds. Naruto smirked and after reading the messages, texted back, Operation is a go. Everyone in position, move in and take care of objectives. With Yujito and Kat. Yujito quietly took a kunai out from her sleeve and held it in a reverse grip as she made her way down the small corridor. Despite the fact that the armory had few guards, they all carried themselves like highly skilled operatives. Kat followed behind her holding the flashlight at waist level. Kat-san, any ideas? Yujito asked as they approached a wall that split into opposite ends. Well, these bases usually have a large storage depot inside for weapons, and an outside one for bigger weapons. Kat muttered. Is there an office or something where they keep inventory? Yujito asked as she looked past the corner to see two guards headed their way. There's just the guard station and the checkout desks where weapons are assigned. Kat muttered as she saw the two incoming guards. Yujito turned to face Kat. I'll take the one on the right and kill him. When the one on the left attacks, you slam him into the wall and disable him, Yujito said in a quiet tone. It was times like this that the third Reikage training paid off. Kat nodded and watched as the two guards approached the corner. As soon as the guard's hand was visible, Yujito grabbed it and pulled it backwards, using the sharp edge on the corner as a lever and pulling the arm out of the socket. She then jammed her kunai through the guard's throat, killing him instantly. She turned to see the other guard standing over her ready to strike, only for him to be grabbed by the back of the head and slammed head first into the wall by Kat. Yujito quickly stood up and looked at the guard. She flashed her kunai and said, "Where is the guard's room and the checkout desk?" She demanded. "Like I'm telling you anything, bitch," the guard muttered and spat in her face. Yujito smirked as she wiped the blood from her face. She quickly put her hand over the guard's mouth and jammed the kunai into his chest, cutting through his outer layer of skin. The man tried to scream, but was muffled by Yujito's hand. Yujito finished cutting the square into the man's chest. "I'll ask you again, where is the guard's office and the checkout desk?" she demanded. "Go to hell, bitch," the guard said with venom in his voice. "Wrong answer," Yujito replied as she grabbed a corner of the square of skin she had carved into the man's chest. With a strong pull, the skin peeled off like a band-aid. The man began to scream louder as blood started to pool at his wound and drip onto his friend's corpse, but no one heard him. "Where is it?" Yujito demanded. "I will not sell out my comrades," he replied. Yujito pulled out a small bottle of salt and poured it into the man's open wound, making him spasm uncontrollably from the pain. "Now if you don't talk," Yujito warned, only for the man to finally cave. All right, the guard station is to the left, checkout desk to the right, and there is a door that leads to the current armory," he whimpered. "Please, make the pain stop," the man pleaded. Kat nodded and grabbed the man's head and pulled, snapping it. Yujito and Kat stashed the bodies into a nearby janitor's closet and left the door half open. Before they left, Yujito took out a small bottle of sulfur and spread it over the bodies and the entrance of the hallway. "Why are you doing that?" Kat asked as she watched Yujito reach behind the door and place something. "A little insurance," Yujito said, and they took off to the guard's quarters. Yujito quietly peeked over to see 3 ninjas standing guard in a small room. "Any ideas, Yujito-san?" Kat asked as she saw the numbers. "Just one," Yujito replied. "You three climb your way to the ceiling and wait for my signal. When you hear a sound, at least 2 of them should leave to check it out. The 3rd guard will wait inside. You quietly sneak in and take care of him while I take care of the other 2. Yujito finished. Kat nodded and walked up the wall using the least amount of chakra possible. Yujito went to the split in the hallway and dropped her flashlight, making a loud thunk sound, with the guards. "I'm telling you, Itsuko, that little demon is unstoppable," one of them said, "and I'm sure it has to have some weakness, Nanako." The other one shot back. "Nasashir, back me up here," Nanako asked his brother. "You two leave me out of this and keep it down, we're supposed to be guarding this place." Nasashir shot back. "From what? Nothing ever happens here," Itsuko replied. However, a faint sound of something hitting the floor drifted into the office. "What the hell?" Nasashir asked as he looked down the dark hall. "Who'd be stupid enough to break into the armory?" Itsuko demanded as he grabbed a small battle fan and some kunai. "I don't know. You two go check it out and I'll call it in," Nasashir replied. Itsuko and Nanako nodded and ran out of the guard's office. Kat slowed her breathing down and watched as the 2 men ran out of the guardroom. She quietly dropped down at the entrance and looked around. Nasashir was making his way towards the silent alarm. Kat swiftly moved behind him and rammed her kunai into the back of his neck, completely piercing the neck and exiting through the jugular. Kat grabbed the man's mouth to muffle the gurgling sounds as he fell to the floor, dead. "I hope Yujito has the same luck I had," Kat thought as she began looking for the inventory list. With Yujito. "Damn it, what the hell is this?" Itsuko demanded. "I have no idea. Just keep calm and keep looking," Nanako told his comrade as he flashed the flashlight down the empty hallway. "What's that?" Nanako asked as he shone the light onto a flashlight on the floor. "I don't know," Itsuko replied as he went to check it out. They both stood over the flashlight looking around but found nothing. "Where is?" Itsuko asked. "Yujito, see kitten?" Nibi mentally asked. Yeah, you were right, Nibi. Yujito replied with an internal sigh. People really don't look upwards as often as they should. With that, Yujito severed the mental connection and dropped down. She positioned a kunai in a downward position over a guard as she fell, and when she was close enough, stabbed downwards. The kunai pierced the guard's skull, killing him instantly and making him fall to the ground. The other guard quickly heard this and turned to see Yujito standing over his friend. Yujito quickly twirled the kunai in her hand and placed it between her middle and index finger when she formed a fist. The guard quickly went into an attack position and threw a wide left hook, only for Yujito to duck under it and retaliate with a jab to his midsection. The kunai placed between her fingers quickly pierced skin and liver, leaving the man to yell in pain. Before he could get a word out, Yujito covered his mouth with her hand and rammed a kunai through his throat, ending the guard's life. She quickly stashed them into the bathroom in the hallway and left them in a stall, the blood pooling in the toilet seat. She then made sure there were no visible traces of blood or signs of a struggle and headed towards the guard's room. Yujito arrived to see Kat there searching through various papers. How's the search going, Kat-san? Yujito asked. There's nothing in this office. Either they were extremely cautious or they have the list at the checkout desk. Kat replied as she searched through a filing cabinet. Then let's go check it out. Yujito replied as she hid Nasashi's body behind a desk. After she made sure no blood was visible, she and Kat headed to the checkout desk and the entrance to the armory. Checkout desk and entrance to the armory. Yujito and Kat quickly opened the door to the checkout desk and made their way inside. Once there, Kat quickly went to work searching through all the filing cabinets for the inventory. Kat, I'm going to go look through the actual inventory just in case there's something in there they kept off records, Yujito said as she picked the lock to the armory. Kat nodded and continued to look through the cabinets. With Yujito quietly made her way through the armory, though it really seemed to be one huge storeroom. There were rows upon rows of shelves filled with kunai and shuriken, and some were filled with battle fans and swords. Makes sense, Suna's main shinobi forces consist of wind users, Yujito mused as she continued to look around with her flashlight. She continued looking through the armory until she saw something that really piqued her interest. In the middle of the storeroom was a small hut. Yujito quietly searched the perimeter of the hut, but found nothing. There were intricate seals carved into the stone walls, but nothing else. She approached the door, but there were even more seals carved and even sealing tags plastered on the wall. There was a name carved on the door. Gara, she said softly as she traced her fingers on the door. She considered opening it, but a blood-curdling scream coming from the hut dissuaded her from the idea. She turned and headed back to the checkout desk to see Kat sealing various documents into a scroll. Found anything? She asked. Yeah, I found the inventory list. What about you? Anything out of the ordinary there? Kat asked. Yujito hesitated, then began. I found this weird room in there, but other than that nothing else. Is there anything in those files about Agara? Yujito asked. Kat skimmed through the records, but found nothing. Nothing, Yujito-san. Why? She asked. Yujito told her about the hut, and all of the seals etched into it. I have no idea, but whatever it is, it sounds dangerous, Kat replied. Yujito nodded in agreement and looked at the cat. Other than that, there was nothing out of the ordinary. Just your standard shinobi weapons and a few Suna exclusives, Yujito replied as she checked the inventory file. Everything I saw seems to be covered in here, Yujito said as she sealed the file into a sealing scroll. Kat nodded and watched as Yujito pulled out her purple messenger. Objective secured. She typed in and sent it to Naruto and Samui. She then took a seat on the ground and waited. Why aren't we leaving? Kat asked as she took a seat next to Yujito. Well, we all have to leave at the same time and meet up at the hotel. We all left together, and if we all checked back in together it would seem less suspicious, Yujito replied. Kat nodded. Isn't this making a greater chance for us to be caught? Kat muttered. Exactly, but for all purposes, we have to keep up appearances, Yujito replied. So now what? Kat asked. We play the most annoying game in the whole wide world. The waiting game, Yujito replied. She and the cat locked the checkout desk and the armory back up and headed back to the guard's office. Naruto, Barracks. Naruto groaned as he made his way through the air vents. There were various cobwebs and even the occasional spider all around the vents. You'd think they'd at least keep this place clean, Naruto thought as he made his way to a grate that had light shining through it. He looked down to see dozens of industrial-sized ovens and stoves. A stout pudgy man was grumbling as he cleaned out the machines. Alright, this is the kitchen, Naruto mused as he made his way to another grate with light shining. He quietly looked down to see various people dressed in hairnets and aprons wiping down rows and rows of tables. Mess hall, Naruto muttered as he kept on crawling through the vents. He walked on through the dark for roughly half an hour until he came to various rows and rows of grates. What's this? Naruto thought as he approached the grate. He looked down to see various rows of beds. How many men are being stationed here? Naruto thought as he tried to count the rows and rows of beds. There are several rows of bed going vertically and about 12 beds going across. They're bunk beds, so their numbers are well past the double digits, maybe into the high hundreds, Naruto thought, but was quickly shaken from his thoughts as a commotion occurred down in the barracks. He watched as every ninja ceased what they were doing and bowed. A large man in white robes with a sandy lining walked through the rows and rows of men. He was wearing a hat with the kanji for Kazekage. Behind him, a platoon of ninja wearing outfits with a purple color scheme walked in a diamond formation around another man. This man wore robes similar to the Kazekage, but with a purple trim around it, and the kanji for sound on it. Who's he? Naruto asked as he swiftly made his way past all of the vents in the ceiling. He continued walking until he reached the other side of the door of the barracks. The men walked towards the end of the hallway and stopped at a large metal gate with various seals inscribed on it. That's a ceiling tag, Naruto thought as he began walking faster and faster along the vents. He managed to get past the vent over the gates as the Kazekage and the men from Oto passed. Behind them, the door glowed a pale white and sealed itself shut. Naruto grew slightly worried, but continued walking until the men finally arrived at a large office. This office looked like a fallout shelter, thick walls adorned with weapons and scrolls and no visible windows. Naruto looked on as the man from Oto spoke. Have all of the preparations been made? A slimy voice asked. Yes, Gaara has been caught and put in a holding cell in the armory for now. All of our men in this bunker are ready to march in a day's notice, the Kazekage replied as he took a seat behind his large oak desk. Good, any word from Konoha? The man asked once again. Konoha? Are they in on it too or are they the recipients? Naruto wondered as he took out a small voice recorder and set it to record. Konoha doesn't suspect a thing. As far as they know, they're just hosting the Chunin Exams and Suna is sending a few teams to participate. The Kazekage replied, making the figure in the white and purple robes chuckle darkly. Interesting how easily loyalties shift, huh Kazekage-dano? The slimy voice asked again. You and Konoha have been long-time allies, yet here you are planning to plunge the knife into their backs. The voice finished. You're one to talk. The Kazekage shot back with venom in his voice. I suppose I am. The figure said as he took off his hat. Long black hair cascaded down his back. The man had sickly-looking pale skin and eyes that seemed to belong on a snake instead of a man. Orochimaru, Naruto said internally. This man gained infamy as the great traitor in Konoha and as one of the 3 legendary Sannin. He was no one to trifle with. So how is that insane son of yours? Orochimaru asked with a hint of glee in his voice. That psychotic demon is no son of mine. But I digress. Like I said earlier, we have him locked up in the armory. He's going insane in there, but most of our SEAL experts have managed to reinforce his cell so that he can't break out. The Kazekage responded. That's not going to help anybody. Orochimaru replied. What do you mean? Kazekage asked. We're going to need him smack dab in the middle of the invasion. So he needs to be in the middle of the arena. Orochimaru replied. You're not serious, are you? The Kazekage demanded. It's dangerous to let him loose, he's unstable. The man shouted, only for Orochimaru to laugh madly. Of course it is, that's why it's the best plan of action, Orochimaru replied in his fit of maniacal laughter. Explain. The Kazekage said as he sat back down at his desk. Suna is attacking Konoha in a desperate attempt to prove to your clients that you're just as good as they are. Orochimaru began with a mocking look on his face. It's not just that, and you know it. They've been cutting our budget back and all of our missions from wealthy clients have been sent to Konoha. Suna is barely afloat as is. The Kazekage defended. I don't really care for your excuses, Orochimaru replied. But if you really want Konoha gone, you have to wipe them off the map. Orochimaru started. With an enraged demonic Gaara in the middle of it all, your forces wouldn't have to fight much. Hell, he could potentially eliminate every one of the ninjas Jounin and down. Of course, the higher ranks will have to be disposed of by us. But that's another matter entirely. Orochimaru said. Fine, we'll let him out of the armory and help integrate him into a team. The Kazekage relented. Good, see that you do. As a matter of fact, let's go get him right now. Orochimaru said. Shit! Naruto thought as he quickly pulled out his messenger. There was a message waiting for him from Yujito. Objective secured. Naruto read. Good, now get the hell out of there. The Kazekage himself and another guy are going there, and it's going to be trouble. Naruto wrote back and sent. He waited for a few minutes and got a response. Outside and en route to a nearby bar, Naruto read. He sighed and quietly lifted a ceiling tile. The Kazekage and his guests had been gone for a while, and Naruto softly dropped down. He quietly walked towards the personnel files, but found the room to be full of filing cabinets. Shit! Naruto thought as he walked towards the Kazekage's desk. He searched through the drawers, but found nothing. Damn it! Naruto muttered and slammed his fist down, only to hear a hollow sound. What's this? Naruto thought as he knocked on the desk again. A hollow desktop? Naruto wondered. He ran his fingers around the edges of the desk until he found what seemed to be a small handle. He pulled it to see the whole top of the desk prop open. Naruto looked through the files there and saw various plans for the invasion, a personnel list of ninjas that were to be sent in, a list of allies in Oto, and a full-blown plan for the invasion. Jackpot, Naruto thought as he took the personnel info file and sealed it into his arm. He then reached into his vest and pulled out a small scroll with the kanji for infiltration on it. He unraveled it and unsealed a small camera from inside. He then took the camera and took pictures of the invasion plans to be developed later. Afterwards, he continued searching through the desk until he found another file labeled Rough Count. He opened it to see rough estimates of shinobis in the bunker and their skill level. 192 genin, 96 chunin, and 45 jounin? Suna must be lowering their standards in order to beef up their forces. Naruto mused. He quickly sealed the documents into his arm again and looked to see a large button labeled Security. He picked it up and pressed on to see Samui and Dog in the records office, Yujito and Kat's handiwork in the armory, and himself standing in the middle of the Reiki's office. He quickly moved to the station where all of the recording equipment was kept and ejected the security tapes from that night. This could have ended badly, Naruto thought as he put the tapes on the scroll and sealed them. He quietly walked back up to the ceiling tiles with the minimal amount of chakra in his feet. As soon as he made it back up the wall, he replaced the tile and made his way back to the surface. Naruto quietly removed the large vent that stood at the ceiling of the barracks and stepped out. He stretched and then tried to screw the bolts back into the vent, only to be stopped by the cold steel around his neck. You have 5 seconds to tell me what you were doing near our barracks, a gruff voice said. Naruto turned to see a man standing 6'3" over him with a sword pressed right at his jugular. Come on, buddy. I don't want any trouble, Naruto said as he showed the man his hands pointing them downwards. The man kept his eyes trained on Naruto, but made sure Naruto wasn't holding any weapons. All right, the man said. Naruto dropped his hands, letting the kunai hidden in his cloak sleeve slip into his hand. You're going to the Kazekage. Now move, the man said. Naruto quickly grabbed the man's sword with his glove-covered hands and pushed it away. With a twirl of his hand, he seated the kunai between his middle and forefingers and gave the man a vicious uppercut. The kunai quickly made its way through the man's chin, past his mouth, and into his brain. The man quickly fell and Naruto caught the body. Shit, what the hell am I supposed to do now? Naruto wondered as he looked at the body in his hands. He turned to the vent and stashed the body inside. He quickly tightened the bolts on the vent and walked away, leaving no traces that he was ever there except the rotting corpse. Stumble and bar. Naruto quietly entered the bar in the northeastern sector of Suna. He quickly spotted Yujito in her tan cloak and took a seat next to her. "Pick your poison, pal," a bartender said as he came over to Naruto. "Scotch on the rocks," Naruto said. The man nodded and walked to the liquor. "Scotch?" Yujito asked in a soft voice. "Gin makes me sweaty," Naruto replied nonchalantly. Yujito chuckled and went back to her beer. "Any word from Samui?" Naruto asked as he downed his glass. "Nothing yet," Yujito replied as she checked her messenger. "This really shouldn't be taking this long," Naruto muttered as he signaled the bartender to refill his drink. Come on, I'm sure she's fine. She's a big girl. She ties her own sandals and everything," Yujito replied playfully. Naruto smiled and shook his head at her attitude. "Maybe you're right," Naruto muttered. "At this point, all we can do is hope," Yujito replied. Naruto nodded and took a sip of his drink. With Samui and Dog quietly made their way into the records office hallway. They made it into the storeroom with relative ease. As Samui picked the lock, Dog kept watch over her. As soon as the door clicked, she and Dog stepped inside. "Alright, so far so good," a shaky Dog muttered. "You look for the shipping records. I'll look for any records of troops being called back or the sort," Samui said. Dog nodded and pulled out a flashlight. Samui took her own flashlight out and headed towards a large filing cabinet. She opened it to see various memos in the most recent folder dated "Forces being called back, stockpiling weapons, and forces being mobilized." This doesn't seem like Suna at all, Samui thought as she kept searching through the records. "Find anything?" she quietly whispered to Dog. "This," Dog replied as he tossed her a large folder. She opened it to see various routes and shipment orders, caravans being sent out with supplies, food, medical, and extra forces being sent out to the small fortress near Fire Country and Konoha. "But why? This doesn't make any sense. What are they going to do, attack their allies?" Samui asked. Dog was about to respond, only for Samui to place her hand over his mouth and duck behind a filing cabinet. He looked up to see a flashlight shining in through the door window and various figures standing there. "Are you sure you aren't just hearing things?" a voice asked. "I'm telling you, I heard something in there," another voice replied. "Well, everything seems clean for now. We'll be more careful with our rounds," the voice answered, and they all walked away. Samui let out a sigh of relief and got up. "We have to keep it down. That was entirely too close." Dog nodded and went to the various shipping records. He piled them up and went to open the unlocked door, only to be called out by Samui. He left the door cracked and walked back, balancing the various folders along the way. "What the hell are you doing?" Samui hissed at him. "Didn't you bring any storage seals?" she demanded. "That's usually a cat's thing, not mine," Dog replied as he rubbed the back of his head. "Unbelievable. I'm more prepared for an infiltration mission than an Umbu is," Samui muttered as she pulled out a small scroll from her weapons pouch. She unraveled it and placed the folders containing the shipment information and memos on top of it. With a bit of chakra poured into the seal, the folders quickly sealed into it with a poof. Samui and Dog stiffened at the noise, but relaxed when nothing happened. "Phew," Dog said, only to stiffen once again by various sounds out in the hallway. "I'm telling you, I heard something," one of the guards said. "And I'm telling you, there's nothing here but old musty records. Not only that, but the door is locked," the other guard replied. "No, it's not," the guard replied as he shone his flashlight on the records office door. "Damn it all," Samui thought as she looked at the door, then glared at Dog. "You left it cracked open," Samui hissed at him. "Is this really a time to be pointing fingers?" he shot back. Samui sighed as she heard a loud smash and the alarm went off. "Shit, we have to move," she said. Dog nodded, pocketed the sealing scroll, and stood by the door. "You ready?" she asked. Dog nodded and Samui kicked the door open. Dog made a mad dash towards the office entrance while Samui threw a few kunai with smoke bombs to hold them off. She then turned to the records office entrance, only to see Dog long gone. What the hell? She mentally demanded as she sprinted towards the door. Before she knew it, two Umbu dropped down at the entrance with weapons ready. Shit! She said, then turned around, only to be greeted by a large blow to her head. A ninja holding a battle fan in his hand stood over her unconscious form. We got her! He yelled out. With Naruto and the others at the stumble-in bar, Naruto worriedly looked at the clock on the wall. It was nearing 1 a.m. and not even a text from Samui. It shouldn't take this long, he whispered. He looked over to Yujito and saw the same worried expression on her face. It's getting late, let's head back, she whispered. He nodded, paid the bill, and they left the bar. As soon as they stepped outside, they were almost run over by a frantic dog. Hey buddy! Yujito called out to him. He quickly turned and saw them standing there. In a split second, he was standing in front of Naruto. We have to get out of Suna, he said desperately. What, why? And where's Samui? Naruto demanded. Dog stayed quiet and looked towards the ground. Naruto's eyes widened and he pushed Dog into an empty alley. What happened? He demanded after he made sure the alley was clear. Things got complicated in the records room. We had to get out of there, and I hauled away from there. Samui stayed back and managed to hold them back. Dog said with his eyes trained on the ground. Where is she? Naruto demanded, not wanting to face the grim reality. When I turned to see if she was still following me, I saw nobody there. The Umbu were already swarming the records office, so I ran. Dog ended. Naruto punched him down towards the ground and looked at his downed figure. How long? Naruto demanded. What? Dog asked. How long since this happened? Naruto demanded again. About 10 minutes, Dog said. Naruto looked at Yujito. Espionage usually entails immediate death. We have to find where the executioner's block is here. Naruto finished. We wouldn't know, we're not exactly locals, Yujito replied as Cat tended to Dog's broken nose. Naruto huffed and walked back into the bar, then headed straight towards the bartender. Hey pal, back for another round? The grizzly man asked. Yeah, sure, Naruto replied as he set down 3 100-yen notes. Oh, how can I help you? The man asked. Are there any places here where people are executed? Naruto asked. Why would you want to know that? The man demanded. Naruto set down another 700-yen notes, keeping the man quiet. I can't remember correctly, the man said. Naruto had it, and poured his wallet out into the bar. Ah yes, you'll be wanting the arena, the man said as he pocketed the money. The arena? Naruto asked. Yeah, big arena near the barracks. They hold public executions there, the man said. You got a map of Suna? Naruto asked. For you, sir? Anything, the man replied happily as he pulled out a kitty menu and pointed to a spot. Here it is. No roof, so it's easy enough to find when in use, like a giant flashlight. The man finished. Thanks, Naruto replied as he pocketed the map and took off towards the group. As soon as he stepped outside, he walked towards the alley where Cat was busy resetting Dog's nose. Come on, we have to get going, Naruto said. Cat helped Dog up and Yujito followed after him. Hotel room. Naruto quickly stepped into the hotel room and laid the kitty menu on the table. Alright, there's no doubt that Samui will be executed tonight, if not already, Naruto said as he gulped hard. Now, the arena is near the barracks. We have to figure out some way to infiltrate and get her back, Naruto said as he pointed at the kitty menu. Dog, Cat, you guys are with Yujito, no pulling rank. We'll have an army on our asses when we manage to get out of here, Naruto said, shocking Umbu. You can't be serious, Cat demanded. Dead serious, actually, Naruto replied as he bit his thumb and did the hand seals for the summoning jutsu. You can't form a siege with a kitty menu and 3 men, it's just crazy, Dog demanded. Summoning jutsu, Naruto whispered as he slammed his hands on the ground. In a large poof of smoke, various bats about 3 feet tall each and Zayami appeared. "Hey Naruto! You rang?" she asked. "Here's our army," Naruto replied to Cat. He then turned to Zayami and spoke. "As a matter of fact, I do. I need your help," Naruto said, and Zayami nodded. He pointed to the location on the kitty menu and started. "A friend of mine has been captured, and I need help getting her back. Unfortunately, we are in the middle of hostile territory, so I need your help. She is being held here," Naruto said as he pointed to a crudely printed picture of a dome. "It has no roof, so it's open to the clear air," Naruto informed Zayami. "So what do you want us to do?" Zayami asked as Yujito approached them. "I want you guys to be my aerial support. I can't do it by myself, but with your help, I just might be able to pull it off," Naruto told her. "You don't have to ask twice, Naruto. Orfeo-sama gave his go-ahead, so we have your back," she replied. "Good," Naruto said as he went to Yujito. He unsealed various kunai with exploding tags on them and handed them to her. "I want you to go with them and the Embu," Naruto told her. "You guys will be my backup. In case things go sour, you use the kunais and make sure that you get somebody," Naruto said. "Now here's the plan," he told her as he walked to the bathroom, with Samui. Samui groaned as she groggily awoke. She looked up to see a relatively lanky man standing over her. She was tied to a chair and gagged. "Oh, I see you're awake," the man spoke. Well, that's not really important, is it? The Kazekage has sentenced you to death on the grounds of espionage. I've been authorized to extract any information I can from you before the executioner does his job," the man said with a sadistic smile. He backhanded Samui and pulled out a small blade. "Come now, you only have an hour to live. We can at the very least have some fun," he said, with Naruto. "You know this is crazy, right?" Yujito demanded as Naruto finished washing his face. "I could be down there with you, helping you fight. I'm more than just a pretty face," she yelled at him. "I know that, but I just can't," Naruto replied. "Can't what?" Yujito demanded. "I can't put you in danger because I already messed up and got her in danger. In battle, you and her are my Achilles heel, alright?" Naruto said as he kissed her forehead. "Please, just this once." Yujito looked down, but nodded. "Fine, just this once," she said and kissed him on the lips, wrapping her arms around him. She then broke it off with tears streaming down her face. "But I love you, Naruto. You make sure you get back to me in one piece," she said. Naruto nodded and looked to see the bats ready for action. "Zayami, please take care of Yujito, cat and dog," Naruto said as Yujito climbed on Zayami's back. "Sure thing," Zayami replied. "You guys ready?" Naruto asked cat and dog. They both nodded and climbed onto the backs of 2 bat summons. "Alright, you all have your assignments, now go," Naruto yelled. All of them laid down on their summon's back as she and the other bats flew out of the window and towards the arena. Naruto put on his face mask and jumped out the window, jumping from building to building towards the barracks. As soon as he arrived at the barracks, Naruto unscrewed the same vent and, after pushing the corpse away from the entrance to the vent, crawled back in. "I'm in," Naruto texted Yujito. "Good luck," was his only reply. Naruto quietly crawled through the ventilation system. "Shit, where the hell can I find some information in military barracks?" he wondered as he kept crawling through. He stopped at the vent over the mess hall and listened. "Hey, did you hear?" a gruff voice spoke. "About what?" another voice replied. "The bitch that was caught in the records office." That caught Naruto's attention. Interesting, Naruto thought. "Yeah, what about her?" the voice asked. "She's been in interrogation with the doc for an hour now," the voice replied. "The doc?" Naruto wondered. "No way, that guy is nuts," another voice replied. "Yeah, and Bor is the one who gets to slice her neck open," the gruff voice finished. "Think they'll let us have a little fun with her before her execution?" the other man asked with a lecherous grin as he wiped down a table. Naruto reached for a kunai, but managed to catch himself. "Easy boy, keep your head," Naruto thought to himself as he looked at the 2 men cleaning up. Nah, I doubt it. She was caught for espionage. That's an immediate death, no matter what time of day, the other man replied. But, before the last man could reply, a large gruff form walked through the mess hall doors. The two men quieted down and looked at the tables before them. The man stood at 6 feet 9 inches, large muscle-bound physique making him seem intimidating. He had a tan Jounin's uniform and a tan cloak over that. He had a face mask with the kanji for boar hanging around his neck and a large battle axe clinging to his back. Interesting, Naruto thought as he crawled forward. The figure walked out the exit doors opposite of where he entered, leaving the two men sweating. With Samui inwardly screamed as a large knife was stabbed into her forearm, going through cleanly. Interesting. Subject seems to have a strong will. The man identified as the doc spoke into a tape recorder. He then pulled out a small vial with green serum and looked over to Samui. The venom of a sauna desert scorpion. Doesn't do anything wrong, but causes severe internal itching. Some men scratch so much, they end up removing various skin layers. And that's just a mild case. The man mused. He then turned and poured the serum into Samui's wound. She glared at the man and tried her best to hold it in. Holding it in, are we? Doc mused. Well, we still have a few minutes, the man said as he turned back to his work table. With Yujito, cat, and dog quietly got into position atop the public execution dome while Zayami and the other summons circled overhead. This place? Dog asked in a slightly nervous tone. This seems to be it, Cat muttered as she looked towards the center. Various shinobi were setting up a large chopping block and a large basket under it. The block was stained blood red from its previous uses and caches of weapons were being settled at the executioner's bench. Yujito turned and saw Zayami approaching their position in a landing position. With precise silence, she landed and turned to them. Nothing seems to be going on yet, but they're definitely expecting a death, Zayami said. Yujito nodded, worried about the fate of her best friend and the man she loved. She shook her head at that. She still wasn't used to admitting it. With Naruto watched as Boar walked into the men's bathroom of the barracks, and followed him through the ventilation system. The man walked into a stall and shut the door. Perfect, Naruto muttered as he opened the vent and dropped a smoke bomb. With minimal sound, the room filled with smoke. Naruto dropped down and ran to the door, placing ceiling tags and sound-suppressing tags on the door. He turned in time to see Boar's hulking figure slam the stall open and run towards the sinks. He activated the hand dryers in an attempt to get minimal vision back. He's smart, Naruto thought as he quietly walked up behind him. He kicked the back of Boar's knees and punched the back of his head forward, making Boar's face slam against the mirror glass. Boar angrily swiped at his back, only to hit nothing. Naruto quietly walked into an empty stall and waited for Boar's next move. Naruto lowered himself to the bathroom floor in an attempt to find Boar's feet, only to barely avoid a large axe swung wildly where his body had just been standing. That was cutting it a bit too close, Naruto thought as he slowly stepped out of the stall. The smoke still filled the room, but it was slowly getting thinner. Who the hell are you? Boar demanded as he went through a series of hand seals. Naruto watched in fascination as Boar finished the hand seals and swung his axe downwards, sending various spikes of rock flying to where he had been standing. Earth style, Earth spike projectile, the man spoke. Naruto quickly used this opportunity to grab his kunai and sliced the man's arm at the joint, making him yell out in pain. Naruto grimaced as the axe fell to the ground and the sickly sound of blood splattering to the floor hit the room. He then ducked under a large punch and positioned himself behind Boar yet again. He wrapped his left leg onto Boar's and pushed him forwards, slamming Boar's head directly into the sink and splitting it open. Naruto approached the downed body and took off the face mask. He put it on and walked towards the door. He ripped the ceiling tag off the door and opened it, then placed a new one on it. He applied a minor hinge to make himself appear 6'9" and muscle-bound and shut the door, letting it seal off as he made his way towards the execution arena. No one would be able to open that door for a while, and by then it would already be too late. "Hey, Boar!" a feminine voice called out. He turned to see a girl with black flowing hair dressed in the standard Umbu uniform walking up to him. And where do you think you are going? The woman demanded. Shit, who the hell is she? Naruto wondered as he looked at the latest obstacle. I have an execution. Naruto replied in a lowered timbre voice. Is something wrong with your voice? The woman asked. Sore throat, he quickly replied. But it's our anniversary. The woman whined. My life. Naruto thought. He took her hands into his and squeezed them assuringly. Hey, chin up. I have something I have to do, but I'll be back soon. Then we can walk to a nearby restaurant and celebrate, Naruto said in an assuring tone. But I want to celebrate now, the woman replied. Come on. I have something very important to ask you, but it has to wait for a bit. Naruto told her. Her eyes widened at that, and she blushed. All right, Borquin. I'll wait for you. Always. The girl replied as she kissed the right cheek of his mask. She then happily giggled and left to get ready. Hardest part of the job. Naruto thought he was the girl who walked away. He then turned and tried to find his way to the dome. With Samui. Samui groaned as the doc looked at her wound and poured a yellow liquid into it. I'm afraid our time together has come to an end, dear girl. The man said with a slimy smile. That numbing agent should help with the itching. Can't say it will do much for the loss of your head in a few minutes though. The doctor said with a certain mirth in his voice. And then, 2 Suna shinobi walked into the interrogation room. I suppose you are here for her? The doctor said, not even bothering to turn around. Yes, sir. One of the shinobi responded. Take her. She's no fun, he said in a demented tone, making everyone in the room question his sanity. If there was anything certain about the doctor, it's that he is one of the best interrogators in Suna. If anything could be questioned about him, it was definitely his sanity. So the 2 shinobi nodded and untied Samui from her chair. Her clothing was torn in places and covered with splatter marks, but she seemed to be in good condition. They tossed her tan cloak back to her and waited for her to put it on. She put it on and pulled the hood up, then walked after them as she pulled the cloak closer to her body. With Naruto, Naruto quickly ran through the barracks as he tried to find the dome. Damn it, this place is a maze, he yelled internally. He then came to a 4-way split in the hallway. Damn it, what now? Naruto muttered under his breath. Hey boar. A voice called out to him. Naruto turned to see a jounin wearing a tan flak jacket bowing before him. The execution is taking place in 5 minutes. They need you to hurry up and report to the arena. The jounin finished. Shit, how am I going to get out of this one? Naruto asked himself worriedly. Hey buddy, I'm a little dizzy. Mind taking me there? Naruto asked in a drunken voice. The jounin shook his head and smiled. Another bender, huh? He asked. He bought it, Naruto thought with a sigh of relief. Kind of, he replied. With Samui. Samui fell to her knees in the middle of the arena. Her head was placed on a large block of wood as a man with a sword stood beside her. She closed her eyes as a man with a scroll stood up. Woman, you are being charged with treason against Suna and espionage. You have been found guilty by the man who caught you in the act, Umbu Operative Bear. Please, I don't want to die, Samui thought to herself. There's still so much I haven't done. She went on. The punishment for this crime is death. The man continued. Samui's mind flashed to her life. Her time with her team, her rivalry with Yujito, her parents, her family, and Naruto. Even if she was facing death, she still couldn't help but think of it. The Council of Suna is willing to show leniency if you name your fellow conspirators. The man over the podium said. A vision of a home in the base of a mountain of Kumo flashed before Samui's eyes. 2 kids, a boy and a girl with spiky blonde hair and blue eyes ran out of the home. Behind them a pregnant older version of herself wearing a wedding ring followed. She was being helped to the yard by an older Naruto. They both smiled as they saw their kids playing in the vast yard and he kissed her, her lips savoring the taste and texture of his. That's when Samui realized it. Any last words? The man on the podium asked. The feeling she had gotten when she was with Naruto. It wasn't a fangirl's crush or even a passing phase. She actually saw herself building a future with Naruto. A little too late, she thought as her eyes began to water and tears fell. Then the man began, but was cut off by Samui. Wait. One last request? She asked the man. He stared at her with a critical look, then sighed. What is it? He asked in a bored tone. In my possessions there was a purple device. I asked that I use it one last time to say goodbye to someone. Samui said. How do you plan to do that? The man asked. Does it really matter? Once I'm dead it will be useless. She replied. Fine. The man said as he handed her the device. An Umbu operative carefully untied her hands, despite the fact she had various chakra suppression seals all over her. She flipped the messenger open and typed her final words. Goodbye Naruto-kun. And sent it. Her tears began flowing more and more as she closed the messenger and handed it to the guard. The Umbu then retired her hands and lowered her to the chopping block. She closed her eyes and positioned her neck on the block. The executioner raised his sword. Samui closed her eyes and waited for the feeling of steel cutting through her neck. Ah! Samui's eyes snapped open as soon as she heard the sound of a soft feminine voice come from the executioner. She turned to see deep blue eyes looking at her, the same deep blue eyes she came to love. Tears of joy began flowing freely from her eyes. When I say run, run! Naruto whispered to her. He lifted the sword over his head, then turned and charged towards the other ninja present. Samui smiled as she looked away from the fighting. I'm not going to die. I'm going to live! She exclaimed inwardly. And all because of my Naruto-kun, she thought as she turned to see Naruto squaring off against 5 Umbu and 3 Jounin. Shit, I've got to help him. Samui thought desperately as she tried to get up. She got up for about a split second, then the pain on her legs made her fall to the ground. It can't end like this. She mentally yelled to herself as she watched Naruto raise his hand and then slam it down. With Naruto, why are you doing this, boar? An Umbu with a hawk mask demanded. Have you even thought about what this is going to do to Mary? Another Umbu in a cat mask yelled. Save your breath. An Umbu in a blank mask with the Suna symbol said as he stood before all of them. That's not boar, he said, shocking everyone. How the hell did this guy figure it out? Naruto wondered as he shifted the sword into a reverse grip. It's a henge. He's using a minimal amount of chakra. Thanks to our large reserves, we barely register it. We have to really focus to feel it, the man finished. He then unsealed a large battle fan and placed it behind himself. Now, who are you and why are you here in Suna? The man demanded. No one imports. Naruto replied as he slowly raised his hand. Just the guy who's going to take all of you down. Naruto replied as he lowered his hand downwards. With Yujito and the others, it's starting. Sayumi whispered as she saw Naruto lift his hand and slam it down. Move in and take down as many as you can, I'll get the girl. Sayumi said to the rest of the bat summons. They all nodded and Sayumi turned to Yujito and the rest of the team. You guys provide cover and if things get too hairy step in. She finished. Yujito nodded and unsealed the explosive kunais Naruto had given her. Go. We'll be watching your backs. Sayumi nodded and she and the other summons spread their wings and took flight. With Naruto, was that supposed to scare us? The commander asked in a mocking tone, then laughed. Everyone followed and began laughing. Kill him. The Umbu finished as he motioned towards Naruto. 2 Umbu wearing dog masks sprinted towards Naruto, only to be attacked by black blurs. The black blurs pushed them to the ground and sunk large talons into their sides, making the men scream in pain. What the hell? The commander demanded as both the bats took off towards the moonlight. He followed them with his eyes to see the silhouette of the bats. That's impossible, the man demanded. His men were then ripped in half by the summon's powerful hind legs. Blood splattered towards the Umbu and began dripping towards the ground as the carcasses were released. The Umbu then looked around as they tried to find the 2 large summons, being careful to watch their backs. Screech! A loud ear-piercing screech was heard as visible waves of sound flew towards them. They were forced to jump away from the impact zone and separate. As soon as any of them landed, a bat quickly descended upon them and took them down. Some had their necks sliced clean, others had their throats cut off, and some unlucky ones had their entrails ripped from their stomachs. What the hell is going on? The commander demanded. Your death, Naruto said as he appeared behind the man. He swung his sword vertically in an attempt to slice the man, only for him to substitute with a corpse. Pathetic, Naruto said as he flicked the blood off his sword. To use a fallen comrade like that. Have you no shame? He demanded. I am ashamed. I'm also the one still alive and not dying, a voice spoke from behind him. He turned to see the Umbu descending upon him with a sword. Naruto quickly coated him with wind chakra and swung upwards, cutting through the man's own sword. As he landed, he jumped away and threw the now useless blade to the ground. You're good. Better than I expected. You actually planned a good siege. He complimented. You're still alive. Naruto returned as he threw off the cloak. He then charged at the man, only to be blown away by a large gust of wind. He landed on his feet and looked to see the Umbu holding his large battle fan. Didn't think I forgot about my baby, did you? The man asked. Naruto rolled his eyes, but saw various objects glinting in the dark sky. Shit! He thought as he quickly jumped away. Oh no you don't. The Umbu commander muttered as he jumped after Naruto. At the same time, a kunai that had been traveling towards where he was standing exploded in midair. At that moment, various kunais began exploding all around the arena, putting the poor souls who had been left on death's door by the bats out of their misery. As the commotion and the explosion set off the invasion alarms, Zayami slowly descended to where Samui was tied up. Sure, Naruto sent me. I'm here to help. Zayami whispered to the girl as she saw her tense up. Samui's shoulders relaxed and Zayami grabbed her with her talons. Hang on. She whispered and took off towards Yujuto, with Naruto. Shit! The man thought as he was sent flying to a wall. As soon as he impacted, he lifted his fan to block a strike headed towards his head. Naruto stood over him pushing the kunai downwards. With a simple flick of the wrist, the man sent Naruto flying back. Come on kid, you didn't think something that simple was going to work? Umbu demanded as he rose to his feet. Wasn't supposed to, Naruto replied as he put his hands into a sign. Boom! He muttered. The Umbu quickly threw his battle fan away and ducked. In a split second, the kunai that had been embedded into it exploded and blew the fan to Kingdom Come. The man growled and turned to Naruto. That was my favorite fan, he demanded as he charged towards Naruto with a kunai in hand. Naruto made hand seals and charged lightning chakra to his sword. As soon as the man was in range, Naruto ducked under a swipe and slashed upwards. The Umbu managed to block the strike with his kunai, but yelled as electricity coursed through his entire system. His hands fell limp to his sides as he glared at Naruto. You bastard! He charged Naruto, his body fighting the electricity confusing his nervous system. He sent a vicious hook to Naruto's face, only for Naruto to smack it to the side. Naruto then clotheslined the Umbu backwards. As the Umbu fell, Naruto positioned his sword behind the Umbu and watched as the man was impaled. He turned to see the arena was literally a bloodbath. Corpses laid everywhere and Samui was gone. He quickly jumped to the arena wall and ran towards where his team was positioned. As soon as he arrived, he saw Yujuto there tending to the injured Samui. Great invasion plan, but how are we going to get out of the middle of a ninja village without being caught? Dog demanded. We're going to have to jump. Naruto replied as he bit his thumb and wiped the blood on his summoning tattoo. What do you mean, jump? Cat asked. Naruto quickly approached the edge of the building and began channeling chakra to his tattoo. As soon as he felt the appropriate amount was channeled, he jumped with his palms facing downwards. A massive poof of smoke enveloped the entire village. Various civilians yelled in horror and various shinobis began spamming out wind jutsus to clear the smoke. As soon as it cleared, Orfeo was revealed, flapping his wings to stay in the air. Where am I? He demanded as he looked around the terrified villagers and the shinobis getting ready to fire various jutsus at him. I summoned you, Orfeo. We need to get the hell out of here before we're caught. Naruto yelled. Get on! Orfeo bellowed. The shinobi atop the arena looked hesitantly at Orfeo's form. Are you sure about this, Yujuto-san? The cat Umbu asked. A large sound was heard as the doors to the arena were slammed open and various shinobi ran in. It's either that or them, Yujito replied as she picked up the injured Samui and jumped onto Orfeo's back. Cat and Dog looked at each other. Dog extended his hand and grabbed Cat's. She gave his hand an affirming squeeze and they both jumped. As soon as they both landed, they channeled chakra to their feet to keep from falling. Naruto was already with Yujito checking Samui's vitals. Go Orfeo! Naruto yelled to the boss. Wouldn't kill you to put a please before that. Orfeo muttered as he took off. How is she? Naruto asked Yujito as he checked Samui's face. Few cuts around the body, one large stab mark on her arm, and the skin around the wound seems irritated. Yujito quickly summarized. Hold on! Orfeo yelled. Naruto quickly pulled Yujito and Samui close to him and held them tightly. Cat and Dog held each other closely and channeled even more chakra to their feet. Orfeo quickly turned away as a large fireball flew towards him. Pick up the pace! Naruto yelled to Orfeo. The boss nodded and climbed upwards. By the time he had gotten high enough to avoid any injuries, Suna was a small dot in their backs. Naruto sighed, but Cat then punched him in the back of the head. What the hell were you thinking? You almost got all of us killed, she demanded. Naruto turned to her, soft blue eyes turned steely blue. I was not going to leave her behind. Naruto yelled at Cat. The siege went by better than expected, there were no casualties and we got away with everything we needed. Why are you complaining? Naruto demanded of her. Because you can't save everyone, she yelled at him. I sure as hell can try, Naruto replied. Cat was about to yell at him more, but was cut off by a small cat. Everyone turned to see Samui slowly raising her arm. Naruto and Yujito quickly dashed to her side. Are you okay, Samui-chan? Naruto asked. Samui's hand went to Naruto's face and caressed it softly. You came back. Why? She asked in a small voice. I will not leave anyone behind. Ever. Besides, you promised me you'd take care, Naruto said as he kissed her hand. She then smacked him over the head and smiled softly. Baka, she muttered, and then drifted off to sleep. Naruto smiled and he hugged Yujito and Samui close to him. They were his angels. His life. His everything. And as long as he was breathing, hell and high water would have trouble taking them. Outskirts of Kumo, Naruto groaned as he looked to the village hidden in the clouds. The entire team and he had been riding all night, and it was starting to show. The only reason no one dared go to sleep was because Orfeo liked to show off and do flips every once in a while. Naruto complained as the first rays of sun hit his face. I hate mornings, he muttered to himself. You're telling me, brat. Orfeo's booming voice replied. We're almost there, he informed Naruto. Naruto nodded and went towards the back, where the rest of his team were resting. Alright guys, we're coming up on Kumo. I know we're all tired, but we still have to report and get Samui to the hospital. So shake it off, he informed them. How are you still awake? The groggy voice of Cat demanded. I can go up to 3 days without sleep. Now wake your asses up, Naruto screamed. Yujito's ears perked at the loud volume of his voice and she looked at him with slitted eyes. You ever wake me up like that, and you're dead, she yelled back. Sorry, Naruto replied as he waved his hands in defeat. Note to self, Yujito is not a morning person, Naruto thought as he walked over to where Dog was dozing off. Hey come on, we'll be in the village in a few minutes. You can nap then, Naruto said as he shook the umbu open. Umbu looked at him with bags under his eyes and nodded. This mission may have been a success, but I ran them to the ground on the exit. Maybe I should have been more lenient. He internally mused as he looked at the exhausted pair of Anubis get up and Yujito struggle to carry Samui. Nah, he said to himself with a small smile on his face as he headed to help Yujito with Samui. Village A's office. I yawned as he took another gulp from his thermos. He had been at the office all night going through paperwork and was just about to get done with his last batch. What a night, he muttered as he signed the last sheet of paper. A small knock on his door caught his attention, and Mabui came in with another stack of papers. Not again, he muttered, only for Mabui to drop them in the middle of his office and stare behind him. What's wrong, Mabui? He asked, worried about the look of shock on her face. Behind you, she said. I quickly jumped forward and turned, only to see a large flying creature heading towards the rakeage tower at breakneck pace. Get down, he yelled, only for the creature to suddenly veer upwards towards the roof of the building. What the hell was that? A demand? Did it look like a bat to you? Mabui asked. A's eyes flashed with recognition and he shunshined to the roof. Kat and Umbu were already on the roof while Yujito and Naruto gingerly helped carry the injured Samui from Orfeo's back. As soon as Samui and Yujito were off, Naruto redirected his attention to Orfeo. Thanks for the ride, Orfeo, Naruto said happily. Thanks for summoning me in the middle of a siege, Naruto. Orfeo shot back sarcastically. Oh come on, it was fun and you know it, Naruto replied. Maybe it was. Orfeo admitted and dispelled, leaving the team on the roof. Well, let's get Samui to the hospital, Kat said as she headed to the door. Suddenly, a small lightning bolt hit the roof and A appeared. Naruto, is that you? He asked. It's me, old man, Naruto replied as he helped Samui slowly walk towards the stairs. We need Mednin stat, he yelled. A nodded and quickly yelled for Mabui to get some medic ninjas. He then motioned them to hurry and get to his office while the ninja arrived. A's office. Now, anyone want to explain to me what the hell that thing was? A demand? What was? Naruto asked as he took a seat. The medical ninja were busy treating Samui's wound and cleaning her wounds while the rest of the team were debriefed. That damn thing you all rode into town, I yelled. Oh, that was Orfeo. He's the boss of the Bat clan, Naruto replied like it was the simplest thing in the world. Bat boss. But, what the hell did you do to have to summon him? What happened? A demand? Naruto sighed as he turned to Mabui. You got any coffee? This is going to be a long one, Naruto said. Mabui nodded and went to get him a cup. Now, from the start, Naruto began as he turned back to A. One long explanation later, A was dumbstruck. Wait, A said as he shook his head. Kat and Yujito went to infiltrate the armory. Yujito set up an elaborate trap, and they managed to get the inventory lists? A asked. Yujito nodded and handed him the scroll with said records. Samui and Dog went to the record rooms and got every memo and letter for the last few months. Then they tried to leave but were almost caught and Dog ran out on her? A asked. Dog looked down in shame and handed him the scroll with the records. Yes sir, I am sorry and I will accept any appropriate punishment, Dog said. A look at Naruto, who just breathed in deeply. You are hereby dismissed from the Umbu Corps and to be integrated back to the shinobi forces at a Chunin rank. Should you want to rejoin the Umbu Corps, you will have to take the examination again and be sure that you are mentally fit for duty, Naruto replied. Dog looked up at him with blank eyes. Why, Naruto-san? It's obvious you love the girl, so why are you letting the guy who almost got her killed get off with minor consequences considering the severity of the situation? Dog asked suspiciously. No point in being mad about the past. What's done is done, Naruto replied. Dog nodded in relief. Thank you, Naruto-san. And you, Naruto, A said, shifting the attention to him. You infiltrated the barracks and got what exactly? A asked. Pictures, Naruto replied as he held a camera up. Oh perfect, now we can have matching decor, A replied sarcastically. Pictures of the invasion plan and their estimates on their forces' strength, Naruto replied. I'll have them developed and get them back to you later, Naruto said. A sighed and nodded. Alright, based on what you have, what have you found? A asked the team as a whole. They're going to attack Konoha. They've been sending massive numbers of forces and supplies to nearby fortresses and village borders, Dog said, shocking A. This is ridiculous. Why would they attack their own allies? A asked in a confused tone. Orochimaru, Naruto said, turning all of the attention on him. What about Orochimaru? A asked. When I infiltrated the barracks, there was a command center. There, the Kazekage and Orochimaru met up to discuss plans on the invasion. Naruto said in a serious tone. Why? A asked again. Apparently, the Wind Daimyo has been redirecting high-paying missions to Konoha's forces. Suna doesn't like that, so they plan on showing Daddy who the better son is. Naruto replied, crossed his fingers and began to think. Anyway, we know Wind's excuse. Now, what's Orochimaru's? Naruto asked. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? Asked Yujito. Orochimaru isn't helping Suna out of the goodness of his heart. The question is, what angle is he playing? Naruto asked, making everyone in the room ask themselves that same question. Cough, cough. A loud cough resounded through the room. Everyone turned to see Samui getting up from the chair. Yujito quickly went to her side and helped her get up. We're going to have to do something about it then, won't we? She asked. What do you mean? A asked with interest in his voice. Simple really. We have to figure out what his hand is, and if we pull it off right, we might be able to get Konoha in our debt. Not necessarily where we want them to be, but definitely gives us an edge. Samui replied. Naruto frowned, but it didn't go unnoticed by anyone. Listen, Naruto-kun, well, all know you have issues with Konoha, but can you put them aside at least for a moment, and hear me out? Samui pleaded with her soft blue eyes. Damn those eyes of hers. Naruto internally groaned. Alright. Perfect. Now, if we can get Konoha in our debt, we would have a major advantage over other ninja villages. We may be able to secure a treaty, and Kumo would rise above the other villages. Samui reasoned. Not only that, but we may be able to get them to take Naruto off their bingo book. Yujito added in a thoughtful tone. Exactly. The question is, how do we help them without alerting them that we infiltrated their allies? Samui asked. Simple really, we infiltrate them. A said from behind his desk. What are you talking about, Willis? Naruto asked A. Cat and dog, you are free to go. Medic needs, go get some antibiotics, painkillers and whatever else Samui-san might need. A said. But, Cat began, only to be cut off by A. Dismissed. As soon as everyone left the office, A sealed the room and turned to the rest of the team. In a few weeks, Konoha will be hosting the Chunin Exams. As I am sure you know, this is when the Sound/Suna Alliance plan to spring their trap. A informed the team. Where are you going with this? Naruto asked as he gripped the armrest of his chair. He was relaxed when Samui took a seat next to him and put her hand on his shoulder. You three along with Omo and Kari are to infiltrate the exams posing as genin. From there, all you have to do is sit back and watch. A said. Naruto was boiling in his seat. What the hell is this idiot thinking? He internally demanded. Hey, unless you've forgotten, I'm not exactly welcome there. I'm on their most wanted list. What do you propose to do about that? Naruto asked A in a calm voice. It'll be fine. All you have to do is wear a mask or some. Before A could finish, Naruto pushed off from his seat. No way, ain't happening. He yelled as he headed to the door. When he opened it, he was stopped by Mabui standing at the door. Please, Naruto-san. Push your feelings aside and be professional about this, she pleaded. Professional? If I did the professional thing, Samui would be dead, he said, and then walked past her. We should go. Yujito began, only to be stopped by A himself. No, you guys have done enough. I'll go myself. A said, shocking the girls. The Reikuge ever got up for anyone, not ever. He quickly left the office with Samui and Yujito following closely. With Naruto, training ground, Naruto growled as he punched the stump as hard as he could. There was no way he was going back to Konoha. Not after the way his family acted. He kept punching away at said stump until a voice called out to him, Naruto-san. He turned to see us standing there. Yeah? He asked gruffly. We need to talk. A said. About what? I am not going to Konoha, and that's final. Naruto replied as he punched the stump again. At that moment, Samui and Yujito got to the training ground and saw Naruto punching the stump. Blood was flying from his knuckles and staining everything, but he didn't seem to notice. It really hurt Yujito and Samui to see him in such a state. Why are you hell-bent on avoiding Konoha? Is it because of the yondaime, or your family? Demanded. Yes, it's because I don't want to see Daddy dearest. Not now, not ever. Naruto yelled at him and noticed the girls standing there. This revelation shocked both of the girls to the core. Might as well explain it to them. Said with a sigh as he noticed the audience. So Naruto told them of his parents' neglect, his disowning, and his life since then. He omitted the parts of the Avengers and his training, only telling them a nice family took him in. So they really disowned you in favor of your brother? Asked Samui. Naruto nodded as he sat down. Well then, you should show them what they threw away, Yujito said, speaking for the first time since she got there. Huh? Naruto asked. Show them what they threw away and the potential you had, Samui said after Yujito. Naruto, Kumo is your home now. We aren't going to throw you away because you kept a secret. Yujito chimed in. That's what family is for. To laugh with you, cry with you, and help you clean up the messes in between, Yujito said as she kissed him. And we're your family now, Samui said as she kissed him. The Reikage couldn't help but the fact he kept such a grave and important secret from him. They still refused to give up on him. You're going to go far with them backing you up, Naruto. Amused, then turned to see Naruto looking at him. What? I'm not gonna kiss you, said, breaking the tension. But I also won't sell you out. You're my friend and a citizen and ninja of Kumo. You won't be left to dry. Finished. Naruto smiled as he looked at the three people before him. Stubborn and crazy as they were family, just like the Avengers. Alright, I'm in. Just give me a few weeks to work on something so I won't be caught. Naruto relented. Alright, and I'll make you some fake papers and IDs. Said. And they're going to take me to get some rest, Samui said as she pointed to Yujito and Naruto. Samui's place. Naruto groaned as the girls laid him down on Samui's bed. He wrapped his arms around a pillow and tossed, sleeping, quickly overtaking him. Meanwhile, Samui and Yujito talked in the kitchen. We need to talk, Samui told Yujito. About what? Yujito asked. About Naruto, Samui said. With that, the atmosphere changed. Yes? She asked in a quiet tone. Do you love him? Samui asked Yujito with a serious voice. Yujito blushed, but nodded. Why? She asked. Because he acknowledges me for who I am, not what I hold. Instead of teasing me about my weaknesses, he helps me improve them. He makes me laugh. He makes me feel safe. When I'm in his arms, I feel like I can do anything. And I know he's willing to lay his life on the line for mine. Yujito finished, then looked at Samui. What about you? Yujito asked. Truthfully, I thought it was a crush. But when I got caught, I began thinking about my life. I began trying to go somewhere that was happy and carefree, and he kept popping up, Samui said with a blush on her face as she blew on her cup of tea. I remembered the fun times, the good, the bad, the training. He's the only thing in my life that makes me happy. When I saw the executioner's blade rise, I thought I was going to die. My life flashed before my eyes. I saw him and I building a life together and we were happy. We had 2 beautiful children and a third on the way, she said with a hint of shyness in her voice, and when I saw that it made me incomparably happy. I never wanted to leave. I was ready until I heard the tone. At first I thought it was heroes worship, but no, Samui said as she took a sip of tea. I can without a doubt say that I see myself raising a future and a family, but only with him. She sighed, making Yujito fume. I'm not going to lose him to you, she hissed at Samui. I'm offering a chance where we all win, Samui replied. I'm listening. Yujito relented. Well, Samui began. After negotiations, Samui and Yujito quietly climbed into bed with Naruto. They had their discussion and after a few raw negotiations, they had finally come to an agreement. Wish I had that pillow, Samui muttered as she saw Naruto bear hugging a pillow. Yujito quickly replaced herself with it and smiled at her. You win this one, Samui growled. With that, all three of the blondes went to sleep. Morning, Naruto groaned as the sunlight hit his face. You damn bastard. He internally growled as he got up. He looked around to see Samui's bedroom, clean and spotless. Where is everyone? He muttered as he headed downstairs. He checked the kitchen, dining room, and living room, but the place was completely empty. Crap, I need to go to the bathroom, Naruto thought as he made a dash towards the Oval Office. As soon as he opened the door, steam poured out and obscured his vision. What the hell? Naruto muttered, only to be hit in the face by a large metal pipe. An angry Yujito quickly knocked him out cold. What, you didn't get a good peep show, you perv? She demanded as she stood over him with a towel covered around herself. Samui! She yelled. Samui quietly walked out of the nearby guest room. Yes? She asked with a Cheshire cat grin on her face. Why didn't you tell him I was in the bathroom? Yujito demanded of her fellow blonde. Must have slipped my mind. Samui said absent-mindedly. Finish your shower. I'll take care of Naruto-kun, she said with a teasing tone as she cradled Naruto's head to her chest. The hell you will, Yujito said as she went to get changed. Looks like someone is a little jealous. Samui mused as she grabbed the unconscious Naruto by the leg and dragged him towards the dining room. 15 minutes after Naruto regained consciousness, Naruto groaned as he massaged the large bump on his head. What did I ever do to you? Naruto asked Yujito. Should have knocked. Yujito replied and she scratched the back of her head. Yeah. Listen guys, I gotta get going. I have some things I've got to figure out if I'm going to be attending the Chunin Exams in a few weeks, Naruto said as he headed towards the door. Breakfast is ready, a soft voice called out. Naruto turned to see Samui setting up the table for 3 people and Yujito brandishing a kunai making slashing motions towards his thighs. On second thought, maybe I'll stay, Naruto said nervously as he sat down at the table. He grabbed an apple and looked at the eggs and bacon before him, while Samui ate some oatmeal and Yujito had hash browns and eggs. So, what do you plan on doing so you won't be recognized? Yujito asked curiously as she took a bite of her hash browns. That's a good question, Samui replied as she turned to Naruto. You aren't going to change your face, are you? She asked. Nah, I kind of like this ugly mug. I have some ideas, but first I need to see if they're doable, Naruto replied as he finished his oatmeal and apple. Like what? Samui asked, her interest piqued. That's a secret, Naruto replied, seeing the dejected look on Samui's face. But I promise that if it works, you guys will be the first ones to know, Naruto added in an attempt to cheer her up. We better, or else it's your ass, Yujito said with a mock glare. Damn, not even dating and I'm whipped, Naruto muttered under his breath. What was that? Yujito demanded. Nothing, dear, Naruto replied and finished his breakfast. After breakfast, bunker, easy, Naruto thought to himself as he slowly opened the door to the bunker. The lights were off and it seemed like every monitor was on standby. Good, they aren't up yet, Naruto muttered as he slowly made his way into the base. He closed and locked the door after himself, and was 2 feet from his room when a blue light flashed behind him. A voice behind him coughed. Health Inspector? Naruto asked with high hopes. You're an idiot, Natalia's voice said to him. He slumped his shoulders and turned to see her in a monitor glaring at him. Not much of a chance I can get you to not call the others? Naruto asked as all of the monitors began lighting up. I didn't think so. Alright, meet me at the meeting room, Naruto said as he headed towards the meeting room. As soon as he got there, he was greeted to the sight of all of the Avengers in their respective monitors. He headed to the coffee maker and set a fresh pot. As soon as he had his coffee, he sat in the middle of the conference room. Report, Cap said in a loud tone. Mission successful. No man left behind. Total kills on my part, 1. Information retrieved and delivered, Naruto said as he took a sip of his coffee. Explain, Tony said as he stepped up. Naruto sighed as he looked at his coffee. This was going to be a long morning. 1 explanation later. You're shitting me, right? Hawkeye asked. Anyway, After the Umbu were taken care of, I summoned Orfeo to get us out of the hot spot. And when we got to Kumo, we reported our findings to the Reikage, Naruto replied uneasily. And? Natalia asked. And what? Naruto replied, trying to play dumb. Don't try that with me, brat. I've known you for a long time. You think I won't be able to tell when you're lying? She asked. Alright then. Wants me to go to the Chunin Exams in Konoha posing as a genin from Kumo. Naruto said. No way. You aren't going back. Tony shouted, surprising everyone present. That's not all. Certain circumstances forced my hand and I had to come clean about who I really am to the girls. Naruto finished. Well, what's the story now? Jarvis asked. Well, Naruto began, they actually accepted me. Yujuto and Samui. They said that I'm still a part of Kumo and that to them, I'm important. I know they might not have meant it, but it's still nice to hear every once in a while. Naruto said with a sour smile. Naruto, you know we're your family. Natalia said as she looked at Naruto. I know, and you guys should know that family doesn't end with blood, so give me a few months to find out their true motives and how they actually feel, and then we'll decide if I leave or stay, okay? Naruto asked pleadingly. Alright, you have 3 months. Cap hesitantly relented. But if anything happens, you come here and hole up, no matter what. Got it? He asked. Yeah, I got it. And guys, thanks for always being there for me. I know I don't say it as often as I should, Naruto said as he left the meeting room and headed to the workshop. Do you think any of them have a hidden agenda? Tony asked Cap. The girls, I don't think so. They've shown they genuinely care about him, even before his heritage was made known. If they did, they would have treated him indifferently before all of this. Cap replied. A's a wild card for now, but he's proven to be trustworthy. We'll just have to trust Naruto's judgment for now, Cap finished. Haven't we always? Natalia asked as she joined their chat. Yeah, but we've always had an eye over his shoulder. Now, he's on his own. I can't help but worry. Cap finished. We trained him to be on his own. All we can do now is hope he was a good student. Natalia said as she wrapped her arms around Cap. Cap blushed as he was dragged away and Tony sighed. A computer popped up before him, and he started surfing what was left of the internet. Oh, and don't watch any of those smutty cartoons of yours, Tony. Cap called out as he and Black Widow left. It's called anime, and it's an art form. Tony yelled back. He sat down and sighed when suddenly a red light appeared on his screen reading, Workbench. Yeah, I'm coming. Tony muttered as he transferred to that monitor, with Tony and Naruto. When Tony appeared on the monitor in the workbench, he saw various tools and circuitry set up and a large motorcycle helmet in the middle of it all. What's up, Naruto? He asked as he checked the mess in front of him. I need your help recreating a portion of your Iron Man suit, Naruto said, shocking Tony. Naruto, you know that stuff is years away. Tony informed him. I don't need the weapons, I need something a bit more diminutive, Naruto said as he got up and went into the armory. Go on. Tony started. Well, I can't exactly go into Konoha with any of my face showing. Naruto began as he came back with various goggles. So, I'm going to modify this, Naruto said as he pointed to the motorcycle helmet. With an HUD like your Iron Man armor. Of course, the ability to find the structural weakness of a tank won't help me much here, so I figured, how can I make this useful? Naruto began as he set up various pairs of goggles. I plan on making the visor like an HUD, but capable of using heat vision technology, night vision technology, X-ray technology, and a few other useful features. I need your help to make something of that caliber possible in the time frame I have, Naruto began. How long do you have? Tony asked absent-mindedly as he began thinking about the materials needed to make it possible. 2 weeks. But I have unlimited resources since I'm making the Reikage pay for it, Naruto began. You know we're going to have to work around the clock to make that possible, Tony said in a serious voice. I know, but if I can make this happen, the possibilities are endless, Naruto replied. Alright, you have the basic circuitry needed for all of the functions you want to include, Tony said as he looked at the goggles. you're going to need the strongest glass you can find. I'm talking steel tough. If you can't find it, I'll have to show you how to make it. Tony began. You're also going to need a power saw and something for the interior to cover any excess wires. Tony continued. A small mic and some thin wiring to help transmit the needed things into the glass. And for the rough basics, that's it. Tony finished. Naruto nodded as he finished taking the notes of what materials he would need. While you go get those materials, I'm going to go ahead and start schematics. Tony said as a large workbench appeared in front of him on his monitor, and virtual replicas of the goggles appeared. Oh, and get a small blowtorch and a soldering iron too. Tony called out. Naruto nodded and headed for the door. Hey Tony. Naruto called. Yeah? He asked. Thanks. I know I don't thank you for all the crap you helped me with, so I'm sorry for that. Naruto said. What's with you? Tony asked Naruto in a serious voice. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Ever since you came back, you've been thanking everyone here for insignificant things. What happened on that mission? Tony asked. Samui. I almost lost her. Naruto replied. Well, you got her back. Tony answered. It's not that. She could have died, and there were a million things I didn't tell her. I just want to make sure that if anything happens to anyone, they know how much I appreciate them. Naruto replied with a sad smile. Naruto, when you work with people in this line of work, you have to face the reality that they might not make it back someday. Tony said sadly. I know, but while I'm still breathing, everyone I care about is going to be safe. Naruto said defiantly. I'll get stronger than anyone else, even the Yondaime Hokage, A and B, just so that I can take care of my precious people. Naruto said with a fire in his eyes. That's the promise of a lifetime, and I plan to keep it. Naruto finished. Tony smiled. Naruto may have just faced the hard reality of working with loved ones, but he took it in stride and made a resolution based on it. You're growing up well, Naruto, Tony thought as he saw Naruto leave the bunker. I look forward to seeing what you become. Tony mused as he got back to working the prototypes. Time skip, 1 week. It was late in the evening that we found Naruto with a welding torch halfway into the bike helmet laid out before him. Alright, just have to connect this last circuit, and make sure this chip will hold, and we should be done. Naruto muttered under his breath, as he focused the magnifying glass and light. Tony quietly watched on through a small webcam wired into Naruto's magnifying glass. Careful Naruto, or else. Tony began. Naruto's concentration slipped and his finger hit the exposed power supply. BZZZTHHHH son of a bitch. Naruto yelled out loud as his finger was burned. That will happen. Tony finished with a sight. He and Naruto had been working non-stop on this project for 9 days, and the fatigue was finally getting to Naruto. Alright, go ahead and weld that last clamp on the chip shut, Tony said, snapping Naruto out of his stream of eloquent curses. Alright, sheesh. Naruto muttered. The clamp was quickly welded and Naruto lifted the helmet. Well? He asked Tony. It should work, but you might want to go ahead and install the interior rubber and the cooling seals just in case. Tony told him as he looked through the schematics of the circuitry. Naruto quickly scribed a few seals into the rubber interior of the helmet and then installed it. So, what are the odds this will backfire on me? Naruto asked warily as he looked at the black helmet. Well, the odds went down dramatically. Now there's a 70% chance of this failing, but don't worry, odds are it won't cause permanent brain damage. Tony said nervously. Great, always nice to have an optimist around. Naruto muttered as he slipped the helmet on. Well? Tony asked. Naruto saw the room through the dark glass of the helmet, but so far nothing had come online. Alright, just a few minutes. Naruto muttered. He quickly put a piece of meat in the microwave, and when it was done, flung it into the dining room without looking. Alright Tony, lights off. Naruto said. The lights quickly dimmed and the helmet came online. Thermal imaging. Naruto whispered. The inside of the glass turned blue enough so Naruto could still walk around normally without crashing into walls, but not enough where it would hurt his eyes. He quickly took a peek into the living room and saw a large blob of heat from what seemed to be underneath the table. Thermal imaging seems to be good. Night vision. Naruto muttered. The inside of the glass quickly took a shade of green and everything was visible in the room. He took a quick look under the table and grabbed the warm piece of meat, then threw it to the trash can. Alright, night vision offline. Naruto called out. The helmet turned dark and shut down. Tony, lights on. Naruto called out. The room was flooded with light, yet everything still seemed opaque. He quickly walked to the bathroom and looked at himself in the mirror. Daylight vision, Naruto said. The glass grew clear and he took a look around the room. Amazing, it's like I'm not wearing a helmet, Naruto muttered as he looked around the room. He then turned to the mirror in the bathroom and saw the helmet was still dark on the outside. His vision was completely clear. Perfect, Naruto said happily. Now comes the tricky part. Naruto said. Tony, are you sure that chip will hold? Naruto asked behind himself. Tony appeared on a monitor and nodded hesitantly. Yeah, but what do you have to lose? He asked nervously. Just my eyesight. Naruto muttered and took a deep breath. He turned to the closed armory and whispered weapons search. Instantly, various grid-like marks appeared and a blue tone coated the glass eye shield of the helmet. Naruto watched as various lines appeared depicting walls and such, and anything found that Tony had cataloged into the programming was highlighted in red to contrast with the blue. Alright, we got kunais, shuriken, swords, guns, everything seems to be in order. Tony, any problems you can tell? He asked. Nothing, the programming seems to be running well, and the welding appears to be holding well. Overheating in there? Tony asked. A little, but that's no problem. Naruto replied as he channeled enough chakra to lift a finger. The seals activated and a cool sensation washed into the helmet. Seals seem to be holding up well, Naruto muttered. Power down, he whispered quietly. The helmet stopped all functions and went back to the usual bike helmet. Naruto carefully took it off and went back to the workbench. Alright, so the helmet works perfectly. Naruto informed Tony. How's the voice coding coming? Naruto asked Tony. Slow at best, Tony replied. But if I pull some more all-nighters, I should have it done before the deadline. Tony finished. Perfect. Now I have to work on the electricity seals. Naruto muttered as he took out a piece of paper. Electricity? Tony asked curiously. Yeah, I plan on lining the bottom of the helmet with them, Naruto replied as he started drafting prototypes. For what? Tony asked. If someone manages to get the jump on me, I don't want them figuring out who I am. Naruto replied. So, I'm going to pack these babies with lightning chakra so only I can remove it, and if anyone who isn't me tries. Naruto began as he drew a seal on a piece of paper and channeled chakra into it. He poked it and prodded it with his hand, but nothing happened. He then went to the fridge and took out a chicken leg. He threw it onto the seal and watched as a large electricity surge charted black. 60,000 volts of electricity are charged into said person. Enough to seriously injure them, even if they are well-trained shinobi. Naruto finished. Good precautions, Tony said as he continued the coding. Yeah, that's also why voice recognition is such a big part of this. This technology would be disastrous if the villages got their hands on it. Naruto finished. Alright, you go ahead and get started on that, and we'll also work on some fake fingerprints. After that comes the fun part, Tony said with a smirk. And what's that? Naruto asked curiously. Customization and making it your own, Tony said with a Cheshire grin. Time skip. 1 week later, Samui, Omoi, Karui, Yujito, and Mabui were all standing at the village gates patiently. Damn it, where is that bastard? Samui asked in an enraged tone. Whoa, cool down, Samui, Omoi said, earning himself a death glare from the girl. What he meant to say was that Naruto is only 5 minutes late, Karui said as she stepped in trying to defuse the situation. Before Samui could answer them, a figure clad in black appeared before them. The figure was dressed in black cargo pants, black boots, a black t-shirt, a black Kevlar vest with several pockets, and a pair of black fingerless gloves. It's an assassin sent here to kill us, We're going to die! Omo yelled out in a paranoid frenzy. Naruto, is that you? Yujito asked. The figure was wearing a black helmet with cherry red trim that made a V shape from the temple to the chin. Yeah, it's me. Naruto replied as he took off the helmet. You know, brat, for someone trying to sneak in, that helmet is going to call some serious attention. I remarked offhandedly. I know, but the benefits outweigh any risk. Naruto replied. What benefits? Mabui asked as she took out a notepad and a pen. None of the major concerns. Naruto replied in a sharp tone. Naruto, we need to know the extent of your abilities to properly rank you and command you, I said. Fine, but it's exclusively my technology. No trying to duplicate or steal, period. Naruto relented. I nodded. Thermal imaging to locate body heat, night vision, daylight vision, and weapons localization with X-ray. Naruto said. Weapons localization? Samui asked, intrigued. Naruto put the helmet on her and spoke. Weapons trace, online? Samui watched as the glass visor turned a blue shade with grid lines. She turned to Samui and immediately, the kunai pouch strapped to her leg showed red and the pouch on her back showed various smaller weapons. Hidden in her mouth was a small blade to pick locks with. Whoa! Samui muttered. She was about to take it off, but Naruto quickly stopped her. Careful there, don't touch that unless you want to be extra crispy. Naruto muttered. Why? She asked. Security protocols. Enough electricity to fry a grown man around the bottom of the helmet, and it only responds to my voice. Naruto said, power down? Naruto said. The grid lines disappeared and the glass visor became opaque. He quickly took it off Samui and turned to see a fuming Yujito. You want to give it a go? Naruto asked nervously. She took the helmet from his hands and put it on. On, she said, but nothing happened. Thermal imaging online? Naruto said out loud. The visor before Yujito's eyes turned blue, and she looked around. People's figures turned to orange figures depicting body heat, and she even saw the animals around the forest. You have to know how to talk to it. Naruto joked, power down. Naruto finished. The helmet went offline and Naruto carefully took the helmet off her. Do you love birds? I asked behind them. They turned and nodded. Perfect, here's your fake passport and ID, though it does need a picture. I said. Mabui quickly took a few of them with the helmet on a Polaroid and attached them to the documents. Your name? I asked. Call me V. Naruto replied as he took the helmet off after the picture. Perfect, I said as he wrote in the details. Alright, the Chunin exams are in 5 days, Konoha is 3 days away. I said to the team, your objectives are simple. Go through the exams as regular attendees and lend Konoha assistance during the invasion. I myself will be there so that the Yondaime can't sweep you under the table. Naruto, you are the team leader here. Take care of them and make sure everyone gets back in one piece. I finished. Naruto nodded and stood before his team. Alright, everyone ready? He asked. Wait, one thing. Samui said. Yes? Naruto asked. She and Yujito got in before him. You look at any woman in Konoha. Yujito began as she caressed his face. And you're dead. Samui finished. You're our boyfriend now. Samui and Yujito said in unison. And we don't share more than we have to. Yujito said as she grabbed his face and kissed him on the lips. He wrapped his arms around her waist and kissed back, pulling her closer to him. Yujito melted into the kiss as his strong arms held her. So this is what it's like. Yujito thought blissfully. Samui then pushed her, and she kissed Naruto. Samui's knees went weak as Naruto kissed her deeply, his tongue fighting hers for dominance. So worth it, she thought. A loud cough made them break the kiss to see the team still standing there along with A. You done? A asked. The three of them nodded and Naruto put his helmet back on. Then move out, I yelled. The ninja before him nodded and scattered. Time skip. The outskirts of Konoha 2 days later. Naruto grinned as he ate breakfast with the rest of the team. Alright team, we're about an hour away from Konoha. Before we start these exams, does anyone have any questions? Naruto asked through a bite of his apple. Yeah, I have one. How are you going to get people to lay off the whole helmet thing? Samui asked curiously. Simple, third-degree burns. No one wants to see that, so they'll lay off. Naruto replied. What if they need to verify? Oma asked. Well, it isn't uncommon for people to use masks during these events. I'm sure I won't be the only one wearing that. Besides, the Raikage vouched for it. Naruto reasoned as he put the helmet on. Daylight vision on? Naruto whispered. The once black glass inside of the helmet turned clear while the outside remained its black color. Perfect, everyone pack up and let's move out, Naruto said to his team. They all nodded and went to put away their gear or to finish whatever else they needed to do. Naruto sat quietly on a stump in the campsite as his team got ready. This was a big emotional problem for him. Part of him wanted to go in guns blazing and showing them what they lost, but his more logical side of mind warned him against it. Hiruzen was also a major roadblock. At this point, he wasn't sure whether he hated the brat or not. Yes, it was true Hiruzen had nothing to do with him being disowned or ignored, but the fact remained he was the root of those problems. He wasn't sure what to do about his little brother, and then there were his parents. Sure, they were and all, but he didn't resent them. On the contrary, if his parents didn't do what they did, he'd probably be leading some crappy civilian life, but the hatred was still there. That searing core inside that demanded retribution, that wanted them to feel what he felt. And underneath all of that, there was still a small child that was tossed aside. It was hard to let go of the hatred, of that much there was no doubt. I'm just going to have to clear a few things about them and then I'll see where I stand. Naruto mused. He suddenly felt a comforting weight on his shoulder, and turned to see Samui leaning her head on his shoulder. Damn, I've got to pay more attention. Naruto mentally berated himself. Something troubling you, Naruto-kun? Samui asked in her soft tone of voice. Nothing really, just thinking. Naruto mused. About what? Another voice next to him asked. Just things, Yujuto-chan, Naruto replied absent-mindedly. It's about Konoha, isn't it? Samui asked. Yeah, kind of. It's just, there's hundreds of things that I don't know, and I have no idea how I'm going to deal with them. Naruto replied, waiting for their answers. Well, I think you should just do whatever makes you happy, not what anyone else tells you to do. Yujuto said in an attempt to help. If that doesn't work, you always have us. Samui chimed in with a smile on her face. Which reminds me, Naruto started in a teasing tone. When was it decided I would be the boyfriend to both of you? Naruto asked. The night we got back you crashed on Samui's bed. There was a meeting. Yujuto replied in a teasing tone. Yeah, we decided it was better to share with each other than to go up against each other, plus whatever other girls' eyes you might catch. Samui finished, helping her friend. Ever think of inviting me to the meeting? Naruto asked sarcastically. We considered it, but you were too involved. Yujuto replied happily. Of course I'm involved, this whole thing is about me, Naruto replied. Now, isn't that a bit conceited on your part? Samui teased. Naruto fumed. Alright guys, we're all set. Omo said as he and Kari approached the rest of the team. Perfect, let's move out. Naruto said. The rest of his team nodded and quickly scattered towards the village gates at breakneck speeds. Village gates. Izumo and Kotetsu groaned in unison as they stood guard at the village gates. The Chunin exams were just a few days away, and that meant that guard duty was nothing but a meet and greet for shinobi from foreign villages and a mess of paperwork to fill out. Man, why can't anything interesting ever happen? Izumo complained that Kotetsu smiled at the attitude of his longtime friend. Some things never change. He mused as he remembered their genin days. He turned to the gate entrance to see 4 shinobis wearing Kumo headbands casually strolling towards them. Be careful what you wish for. He muttered as he stepped from behind their small guard booth and stood before them. Halt! Identify yourself and your reason for being in Konoha, he started in a loud voice as Izumo stood guard behind him. Special team from Kumo reporting for the Chunin exams, Samui said as she extended her hands. The rest of her team quickly handed her the IDs and permits. She then handed them to Izumo, who looked them over. "All right, everything seems to be in order," he said. "Except for one thing." He quickly added, "Where is your Jounin-sensei?" Kotetsu asked. "We were a team of genin composed of the most promising. As such, we have no team since we were picked by the Reikage himself," Yujito replied. "Who's this V?" Izumo asked as he looked at the picture of the cloaked Naruto. "That would be me," V said as he took a step up. "Who exactly are you supposed to be?" he demanded. Who is but the form following the function of what, and what I am is a man in a mask," V replied slyly. "I can see that," Izumo shouted at him. "Listen buddy, I am V. I am registered here on the behalf of the Reikage to inspire goodwill, and I am ready to participate. I wear this helmet because certain incidents in my career as a shinobi have caused me to suffer severe damage. You are more than welcome to look, but you will find the result of the cruel torture regimens from origins that shall remain unspecified," V said harshly at Izumo, making the man cringe. As a shinobi, one of the worst risks you ran was being captured, tortured, and killed. For this genin to have gone through such hardships before he even got ahead in his career really meant something. "Alright, you may pass," Kotetsu said. The team took a few steps forward, but were immediately intercepted by Konoha's Umbu forces. Naruto quickly unsealed his sword and took a defensive stance while Yujito unsheathed her claws and channeled chakra into them, making them come alive with blue flames. Samui unsheathed her sword and took a defensive stance while Karui unsealed her large daggers and put them into a reverse grip in front of her. Omoe was about to unsheath his sword when the head Umbu stepped up. "Wait, we mean you no harm," he exclaimed and ordered the rest of his men to scatter. This helped relieve some of the tension as the rest of the team except for Naruto lowered their weapons. "What do you want?" Naruto asked bluntly. "The Hokage requests an audience with you," Umbu replied calmly. "Any reason in particular?" Naruto asked the man warily. "I was not informed, merely told to direct any teams from Kumo to the Hokage Tower," Umbu replied. Naruto carefully nodded and lowered his sword. "We'll be there shortly," Naruto replied. The man nodded and disappeared. Naruto sighed as he sealed his sword. "Great, now what are we going to do?" Samui muttered behind him. "I don't know about you," Naruto began as he looked to the Hokage Tower, "but I want some answers." Naruto finished as he headed to the tower. Samui and Yujito looked at each other, and nodded and quickly took off after Naruto. He was going to need all the help he could get. Hokage Tower, Naruto sighed as he looked at the door before him. Never had he envisioned himself seeing his former family so soon. Yujito and Samui both placed a hand on his shoulder. "Alright, you girls ready?" he asked weakly. "Are you?" Samui asked back. "Never mind that. The stage is set, the curtains are rising, and it's show time," Naruto said as he knocked on the door. "Enter," a monotone voice said. "Great, same douche," Naruto thought as he stepped in. Gathered around the Hokage's desk were the Hokage himself, Minato Namikaze, his wife Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze and the Toad Sage of Konoha, Jiraiya. "Can I help you?" Minato asked the man in the odd helmet with a V shape and the rest of the team standing before him. "Apparently you requested us here," V replied as he pointed at Omo's forehead. Minato quickly recognized the forehead protector, and his attitude changed. "Yes, I did. Sorry for my rudeness. I asked you here in hopes you could provide me with some information about a shinobi from your village," Minato said as he scratched the back of his head awkwardly. "One Naruto Romanov, I assume?" V asked in a venomous tone. "Yes, he is a wanted criminal here in Konoha for the kidnapping of my son," Kushina began as she stepped up towards where V was sitting. "Stop right there," V said, cutting her off. "It is my understanding you currently only have one son and one clan heir. You disowned your son and put him out," V pointed out as he took a seat on a couch and propped his feet on the coffee table. He motioned for the rest of his team to do the same. "Not only that, but Romanov found him and took him in. Should we treat a good Samaritan as a criminal for a good deed he committed?" Naruto asked Kushina, seeing her face getting a tinge of red from anger. "Not only that, but he is a respected shinobi within the Kumo ranks, well on his way to becoming one of the strongest. V added, "You expect us to sell out a comrade?" With all of the praise Konoha emphasizes on teamwork, you would think they'd know that will never happen. V said as he stood up, "And thus I leave you to your thoughts." V said as he stood and went to the door. "Wait, you can't leave! You just admitted to your village harboring one of our most wanted," Jiraiya demanded, "and as a hidden village, Kumo may grant amnesty to one of their shinobis." Yujito shot back, making Jiraiya simmer down. "Calm down, Yuki-chan. We don't need this," he said as he patted her shoulder. "Though before I leave, Romanov is a good friend of mine, and told me of his time with Naruto." He added with his back turned to them, "Let me tell you, that kid was a gold mine. Legendary infiltration skills, amazing stamina, great strength, good with weapons, though none of those even came close to his best quality," he said. "Sheer willpower. Enough to even put Romanov to shame. And when he started chakra training, he took to it like a fish to water. No flashy techniques, but the core basics. He was able to manipulate them and mold them into his own," he said, making Kushina tear up and Minato look down in shame. "There was one question Romanov said Naruto asked him he never answered, and I hope to get one for an old friend," he said, making Kushina perk up. "What was it?" she asked in a weak voice. "When Naruto was 10, he asked Romanov this: 'Why did my parents stop loving me?' He said in an icy tone, making everyone in the room cringe. "We never stopped loving him," Kushina yelled at him. "Really? Then why disown him?" he asked her, shutting her up. "It's not like that. It was for the betterment of the clan," Minato yelled as he stepped up. "Oh really? The great Namikaze clan consists of," he said as he looked at Kushina and Minato and raised 3 fingers. 3 members? He said with venom in his voice. "You're overstepping your boundaries, Genin," Jiraiya yelled at V, "and you're overstepping yours, Sage," V replied. "What would the Raikage say if he heard you tried to coerce information out of his Genin?" Naruto asked, making Jiraiya shut up. "We'll leave you to your thoughts," V said as he got up and left with his team, leaving the 2 Namikazes and the Toad Sage to their thoughts. That one question kept resounding in their minds. Why did my parents stop loving me? With Naruto, Fallen Birch Hotel, Naruto groaned as he and his team stepped into one of their rented rooms. After their meeting with the Hokage and his wife, no one said a word to him. Now, shit was about to hit the fan. Oh well, Naruto thought as he sat down on the couch and turned to see all of the respective members of the team looking at him. "Alright, any questions?" Naruto asked. Karui was the first to walk up to him. "Yeah, what the hell did they mean about their son?" she asked madly. "Did you kidnap the heir of the Namikaze clan? Does they even know?" she demanded. "A knows about me and my past, as do Samui and Yujito. I have never kidnapped anyone," Naruto replied as he walked to the minibar and pulled out a small bottle of scotch. It was quickly taken from his hands and gulped down by Yujito. "Alright, why are you being so mean to them about their son?" he asked. "Because they abandoned him," Naruto shot back as he tried to head back to the minibar, but was blocked off by Samui. "I'm not going to get a drink, am I?" he asked. Samui shook her head and turned him back to his seat. "Then why is it that they want to know about you?" Oma asked. "Simple really," Naruto replied as he took a seat and looked towards them. "Because I am the firstborn of the Yondaime Hokage," Naruto finished, leaving Omoi and Karui in shock. "What the hell do you mean?" Karui demanded. Naruto sighed and turned to Yujito and Samui. "Any of you want to take this one?" he asked, only for both of them to shake their heads. "Didn't think so," he muttered as he turned back towards Omoi and Karui. One long explanation later. You're shitting us, right?" Karui asked in a nervous voice. Omoi, for once, had nothing to say. "No, I was disowned at a tender age and adopted by a very interesting group of people who taught me everything I know. After they passed on, I left and decided to head to Kumo," Naruto replied. "From then, I joined your team and we had our own little missions up to this point," Naruto finished. "But as soon as word got out that a Naruto Romanov was out there making an impact," Karui began. They decided it was time to bring you back. Olma finished. Bingo. Like a spoiled child who threw away a toy, then saw another kid pick it up and wanted it back. Naruto affirmed. So then, how are we to know you won't be a flight risk or that you won't try to ambush our efforts to help during the invasion? Karui asked carefully. Because I expect you to remember I am still the team leader here, and as such I know how to separate my personal feelings from the situation. Naruto replied, then turned to the wall and saw the clock. 11:30 p.m. Naruto thought, now, it's late and we have to get up early tomorrow for the first part of the exam, so I suggest you get some rest. Naruto finished as he headed towards an empty room and crashed on the bed. Tomorrow's going to be hell. He mused until he felt two familiar weights at each side of him. But I might as well enjoy my way down. He finished with a large grin plastered on his face. The next day, outside of the academy entrance, Naruto, Samui, Yujito, Omoi, and Karui slowly made their way to the academy where the first part of the Chunin Exams was to take place. Any ideas as far as what we do? Omoi asked in a nervous tone. Most exams consist of 3 parts. Written, survival, and finally live action, though in no specific order. Yujito began. As such, the writing will be of little consequence. Naruto began. Just answer enough so that you pass and make sure you don't get kicked out. He added. The practical fights will be more difficult. Karui said with a frown. Exactly, we are all well above Chunin level. Naruto agreed. So we will have to tone it down so no one gets suspicious, agreed? Naruto asked the team and they all nodded. Perfect, now for survival. We won't know the main objectives, but this won't be the first time we're in the middle of a hot spot. Naruto said out loud. So for now, we just lay low and don't call too much attention to ourselves. He finished as they arrived at the academy. Any questions? He asked. No one seemed to have anything to ask. Then let's go. Naruto said as he headed towards the main door and looked around. 3rd floor. He thought as he noticed the stairs. Looks like we're hoofing it. He thought as he and his team climbed up the stairs. As soon as they reached the 2nd floor, they noticed a large gathering of genin all around room 2B. The papers said the 3rd floor, didn't they? Naruto quietly asked Yujito. She nodded and walked through the crowd. Please, we really need to take this test. A girl with panda buns pleaded to an odd man guarding the door. Listen Toots, if this is your current power level, we're doing you a favor. The man shot back at the girl. Notice anything familiar about that guy? Naruto asked a passing Samui. She looked at him and didn't notice anything in particular that stood out to her. Not really, why? She asked as they neared the stairs to the 3rd floor. Look at his bandages. Naruto said to Samui. She turned and saw that this genin had them on in the same fashion as the Chunin that guarded the village gates. You don't mean? Samui began as she turned back to Naruto. Bingo, looks like a small test to weed out the weakest participants. Naruto replied with a smirk. Hey, why don't you drop the genjutsu already? A voice said. Naruto turned to see a boy with black hair walking towards the men guarding the door like he was God's gift to the world. Damn it Sasuke, that was meant to weed out the weaker genin. You just doubled our competition. A familiar voice said. Naruto turned to see his little brother standing there. He stood at 5'4", wearing a black pair of cargo pants and a burnt orange t-shirt with black ninja sandals. Around his neck was a black ninja headband / he had his red hair tied into a ponytail, and his brown eyes looked at the prick before him fuming. Whatever dope. Sasuke replied. Naruto curled his hand into a fist and took a step forward, but was quickly pulled upstairs by Omoi and Samui. As soon as they were out of view, they let him go. What the hell are you thinking? Yujito asked him. I don't know. Naruto replied as he unclenched his fist, truly unsure of who he was going to kill. Remember, keep your cool, and it will keep you alive. Samui said as she took his hand into hers and kissed it. If you don't, we'll bring you back to life just to kill you. Yujito added. She might have acted like she hated him, but it wasn't that. She hated the thought of losing him, and with his little brother and family there that possibility became a reality. Naruto took a deep breath to calm himself. Alright, I'm good. Naruto said as he got up. Then let's go. Yujuto replied cheerily and dragged him to the testing hall. As soon as the door was opened, all of the participants inside shifted their attention towards them and sent a pathetic amount of killing intent. Naruto shook his head. Yujuto, show them how it's done, he muttered. The girl nodded and looked at the whole room. She unleashed a massive wave of killer intent towards them, making most of them fall or look away. That's enough, Samui said as she placed a hand on Yujuto's shoulder. Alright, let's go take a seat, Naruto said. They all nodded and walked past the Konoha rookies, until a certain Inuzuka had a slip of the tongue. Look, it's Darth Vader, he muttered, making fun of Naruto's helmet. Naruto turned and saw the boy laughing loudly. Red fang marks on his cheeks, small white pup on his head, and slitted eyes. This one must be an Inuzuka, he mused. Come on, guys, leave Kibble to his business, Naruto said, making the Inuzuka growl. What did you call me? Kiba demanded. You've heard me, Kibble breath, Naruto said, making Inuzuka nearly jump at him. Kiba was quickly caught by Shino. Please do not taunt my teammate, Shinobi-san, he said in a monotone voice. Then keep your dog on a leash, or next time I'll have him neutered, Naruto replied, making Kiba wince. Man, how do you sleep at night with that sick mind? Kiba asked. Usually on top of someone and passed out, Naruto replied as he took a seat next to Samui and Yujuto. Kiba was quickly sent flying back with a nosebleed and both girls were left with blushes. What's going on there? Samui asked as she pointed towards the interaction between Kabuto and the rest of the genin. Kabuto Yakushi, one of the inside men, if I remember correctly, Naruto thought. Let's just watch for now, Naruto muttered. He and his team watched the exchange between Kabuto and the Konoha genin teams. I would like some information on Gaara of the desert, Sasuke said as he turned to look at the redhead from Suna. That's Gaara? Naruto internally asked as he turned to the semi-psychotic redhead sitting a few rows above him. Yujuto turned as soon as she heard the name and saw the redhead sitting a few rows above them, so that's what was locked up in the armory. She thought, Kitten, you might want to steer clear of that boy. The Nibby inside of Yujuto warned. Why, Nibby? What's wrong? She asked her inner demon. That boy has one of my brothers sealed in him, judging by the black rings around his eyes and the fact he's from Suna. It's Shikaku, the One Tail, Nibby said. Yujuto nodded and turned to Naruto. Nibby says we should steer clear of that Gaara. He's the One Tail's host, she whispered softly. Naruto listened intently and nodded while keeping an eye on the team from Konoha. A genin from the sound team jumped and tried to attack the Konoha genin, only for them to completely avoid it and get through relatively unharmed. Kabuto ducked under a strike to his head, but suddenly bent over and threw up. Interesting, maybe manipulation of bodily acids? Nah, improbable. Maybe some sort of sound manipulation that messed up his center of balance. Naruto mused as he watched the ongoing conflict. The two genin looked ready to throw down, but were cut off as a large poof resounded in the room and a cloud of smoke gathered. Alright, settle down, maggots, or I'll have you thrown out of here quicker than a horse runs out of a glue factory. A man with a black headband and a black trench coat and all black ninja attire yelled loudly. Everyone shut up and turned their attention to him. My name is Ibiki Marino, and I am the proctor to the first part of the Chunin Exams, and from here on, your worst nightmare, the man finished with an evil grin. The Chunin Exams have officially begun, he exclaimed loudly.